doesn't have a lighter for a cigarette. Moments later, deputies say the stolen car was seen speeding at. Video shows BMW engulfed in flames as deputies pulled up and pulled Johnson from the driver's seat. Johnson then told a deputy, quote, "You saved me from the aliens."
Wow.
Now he's been charged with grand theft, driving while his license is canceled, suspended, or revoked. Lucky to be alive.
Calvin Johnson was hard enough to defend as he was. Could you imagine if the actual Calvin Johnson could have teleported as well?
Oh, wow. I don't know if he'd fit in this particular car.
That's true. Or in the teleporter portal.
Look, you think this guy's a little loco?
I'd say. Yeah, I'm going to say he didn't actually teleport.
Damn, in the video, he also says the X-Men told him to do it.
You can't listen to them.
He feels no pain because his face is jacked up.
Indeed.
It looks like it's not bothering him at all.
He lost the arrest.
Police in Napa County, California, dressed as Santa Claus as they arrested two men suspected of stealing thousands of dollars worth of Christmas trees. With the holiday season in full swing, you'd expect a lot of people to be full of Christmas cheer as they gear up to spend quality time with friends and loved ones. However, it was also a time when the Grinches took over. Safeway store in Santa Fe, California needed police assistance as more than $2,000 worth of Christmas trees and wreaths were stolen. Robbery, which occurred at the end of November, prompted intervention from police who finally apprehended the suspects on December 4th. Police department announced the arrest on Facebook with one officer dressing up as Santa Claus as they reenacted the arrest for a reel. The reel also included the song "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," as the Santa-clad officer stood with his arms out and the weapon holstered. Now, through the follow-up investigation, the officers identified the suspects as 29-year-old Kayla Daniels and 39-year-old Joshua Gonzalez.
Something funny about Santa packing heat on the hip right there. I don't know why it cracked me up. Is that trash?
That is all I've got.
All right. That is Trash Each Day, presented by our friends at Bud Light. We will close the show with a college football spotlight, and the spotlight will be us. Maybe looking like idiots. I don't know. Do you have the spotlight open, Tyler? Can you just hit a generic college football spotlight?
The College Football Spotlight.
It is the Shannara Spotlight each day, presented by our guy, Alexander Shannara, trial attorneys. They have recovered more than $2 billion for their clients. $2 billion for their clients. Maintaining Alexander's core values: integrity, mastery, passion, and success. If you find yourself in need of an attorney, Shannara.com, Shannara.com. It can be a confusing time for you, a scary time for you. Let Alexander Shannara take care of you. Shannara.com, Shannara.com. Our spotlight today is on us. We're going to spotlight us today in the spotlight.
Interesting. I have no idea where you're going here.
I'm going to go with the preseason Heisman Trophy draft we did. Do you remember doing this?
Vaguely, yes.
All right, Scott's got the results of our draft. We each drafted, it was a snake draft, and we each drafted 5 names. You've got the guy, but look at some of the names we drafted before you got the guy, Lance. Scott, do you remember who had first pick on this? Do you remember?
Catch up on all today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice: Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcast, wherever you listen. Always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
You know what, D? I hate being on this highway with all these 18-wheelers. I don't know what I'd do if I got in an accident with one.
First, call 911 to report the accident, and then hit up the gators of the litigation situation. Alexander Shannara, trial attorney. Because accidents with 18-wheelers, delivery trucks, and construction vehicles are complicated. Call 1-800-229-7989 or hit them up at Shannara.com. Alexander Shannara, trial attorney. We go deeper. We fight harder. We win bigger. Call me Alabama.
Physical office location, Birmingham. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Another day of the next round. We send you to the weekend with some more college football and NFL talk. He is Lance Taylor. I'm Ryan Brown. Dunaway in the tacky sweater. Out again, sick. Hopefully back with us Monday.
Man, there is something going on. You know, I was doing a show with Chip and Zay yesterday in Austin.
Yeah.
And they were talking about some new virus, some new power viruses out there. I don't get involved in the news enough.
Not the power virus.
Yeah, much more up on my current events. It's not a coronavirus. It's some kind of. Have you heard about this, Jeeves?
I have not. I don't pay attention to the news either.
Yeah, nor do I. If I get the power virus, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, but I mean, I was talking to somebody on the way in, and somebody right now is in the hospital.
Oh,
and
no.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are really sick right now.
Scott is the only staff member to have direct contact with Dunaway, and Scott, I think you described his voice as sounding like pure hell.
He sounded terrible yesterday. I have not actually spoken to him since then, but yesterday he sounded like crap.
I think yesterday Jim said, listen, I'm just going to take the rest of the week and hope I can be back Monday.
Well, it's we're 13 days away from Christmas, and I had never been sick on Christmas in my life the last 3 Christmases. So 3 Christmases ago, that would be 22, got COVID for the first time ever, woke up Christmas morning with COVID.
Yep.
Christmas Eve of 23, you might remember this, I was in the ER.
I do.
Yeah. Oxygen levels got low or something very weird.
I do remember this.
And then last year, coming back from New York, was around way too many people, got back to 2 days before. Christmas Eve, got sick again, ended up having the flu last Christmas. So 3 consecutive Christmases, I've been sick.
Oh, let's don't do that
So
again.
I just want to stay away from people.
Lance getting nothing for Christmas except
As I say, I'm going to a party tonight.
Oh, there you go. That's smart. Hey, we've got a lot to get to on the show. Alex Golesh will join us in this hour if you are listening to us live. If not, you can get it on demand if you can't stick around. But coming up in about half an hour, if you're listening to us live, the new Auburn coach makes his first appearance with us. Excited to talk to him and see what he's all about, see if we can have some fun with Alex Golesh. Also, Todd Fuhrman, as always, on Fridays. We'll look ahead at the college football playoff point spreads and many other things with Fuhrman. So he will be with us. 4 Downs, all the same stuff we do. Tyler, Scott, Brooks, they're all here. I mentioned fake Dunaway's tacky sweater. That's going to tie in for you a chance to go see Bama, Oklahoma. We got Baumhower's tickets again, don't we?
Yeah. Bob he's been a giver right now. I had a conversation with the mayor of South Beach yesterday, and Bob was like, you know what? I'm not going to go to Norman. So much like I did with my SEC championship game tickets, I'm going to offer them up to somebody that listens and watches the next round. So
what a nice
2
guy.
tickets to Norman. By the way, did you hear the allocation for the Alabama fan base?
I did not, but I think, if I am not mistaken, the college football playoff controls that. I don't think it's the school's decision. I think it is controlled by the college football playoff.
Because I think Memorial Stadium, and I've only been there one time. Have you ever been to Norman?
I have never been to Norman.
Yeah, it's a little over 80. I think it's like 81.
Okay.
Pretty good little atmosphere. Alabama's allotment, 200 tickets.
I beg your pardon?
200 tickets.
Oh, Baumhauer got 2 of the 200.
Yeah.
He's pretty high up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can go any lower than that.
200?
Yeah. Forrester, you listen to Bama and Bourbon, right? I mean, Aaron brought this up. I mean, it was 200. It wasn't 2,000. It was 200.
He did.
Yeah.
He asked me not to clip that for social, but
Okay.
Wait, don't clip this part for social either if you do not mind.
Well, no, it was a big talking point at the Monday Morning Quarterback Club on what night was that? Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I mean, people were talking about like nobody's going because there's not an allocation for it. I don't know how much of an appetite
Well, I was about to say, I think 200 might cover it. I'm with you. I don't know what the appetite's like because this is actually probably smart by the college football playoff. Like if you've got SMU last year playing at Penn State, I think, you can say, look, SMU, there's a lot of money there. They are never in this situation. They'll travel to Penn State. You got Alabama playing at Oklahoma. Like, number one, they're disappointed to have to go on the road in the first round of the playoffs. They're not just happy to be there. And number two, your Alabama fans are going to say, like, Norman's nice, been there last year, not a fun trip. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. They're either going to go Rose Bowl, Atlanta, Miami, and I'll grab them in one of those spots.
Yeah.
Or they're going to lose, and I don't want to be there.
Yeah, you don't
So it's
wanna-
probably smart just to cater to the home crowds.
Yeah, I think I said it on Monday or Tuesday right here that if I was an Alabama fan, the way I would play this is you don't want to go to Norman if you're going to lose. And if you win, why not save the money and go to the Rose Bowl, especially if you've never been against Indiana. I saw one of our buddies in the parking lot before I came up today, an Alabama fan. You know who I'm talking about, Cheese Balls.
Yeah. That's not his nickname.
I said, no, he was dropping off Cheese Balls.
You saw Cheese Balls out there.
Oh, yeah, my buddy Cheese Balls.
Yeah, you know Cheese Balls.
But I asked him, I said, are you going next week to Norman? He's like, no. And I said, what about Rose Bowl? No. He said, I'll go to the final two. And I'm like, that's
Good
pretty,
luck, man.
Yeah, that's pretty ambitious.
But I mean, why? If you've been to the Rose Bowl, like we told Connor yesterday, if you've never been to the Rose Bowl, Connor O'Gara, you should do it once in your life. But once you've been there, I don't know the appeal to doing this, because you're either going to go spend a lot of money and watch your team lose, or you're going to go spend a lot of money and watch them advance, and then you're like, well, now that I spent that, I got to go to Atlanta. If they win there, I got to go to Miami.
You know, for a lot of people, my kids have never been to Los Angeles. I don't know about your kids.
Yeah. We went out there when my oldest graduated high school. We let her pick anywhere she wanted to go. She had always wanted to go to L.A., so we spent a week in L.A.
And my kids have always wanted to go out as well, and we haven't done that yet. And I've been, obviously, a ton of times. But it's one of those things that you could actually plan a whole, kids are still going to be out of school.
Yeah, it's the week after Christmas.
So you could plan a trip, go out there, do all your sightseeing, do all the things you've always wanted to do, and still go to the game. So if you haven't been on that trip, I would highly recommend it. You got to have patience because getting in and out of the Rose Bowl is quite the
really
journey.
Difficult. Yep, really difficult. I completely understand that. But 200 does sound like not much. But I get why the college football playoff would cater to the home teams in this situation. Number one, you've earned home field, so it ought to be a home field advantage. But number two, I think they're smart enough to realize, especially if you're going somewhere in conference, Alabama's going to go to Oklahoma all the time.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's not one of these teams that's going to have a problem selling out their allotment, right?
No, I wouldn't. All right, so your home teams are A&M. I would imagine they easily sell it out. First trip to the playoffs. Oklahoma should easily sell it out.
Oregon.
First trip to the playoffs. Oregon, it's a smaller stadium. It's their first home game in the playoffs, not their first trip. And then who am I missing here?
Who are we missing?
Ole Miss. Yeah, they'll easily sell out.
Yeah,
Ole Miss will easily sell out. You would have to think. So yeah, I don't think that I don't think sellouts will be any issues there. And I would cater to the home teams. You've earned home field; it ought to be home field. So 200 tickets is not a lot, but it's probably going to cover the needs. Like if I were, I guess maybe if you're going to Oregon. And you're like, yeah, I've heard a lot about that stadium. I've never been. That one might tempt me. You know what I'm saying?
I told you.
You did. Yeah.
Yeah, and a couple of weeks ago when we were just doing some pre-planning possibly for how we were going to cover the college football playoff, I said, if for some reason Alabama has to go to Eugene, I am all in on that one.
Yeah, you've wanted to go to that stadium, right?
And I've never been to the Pacific Northwest, and I've had multiple trips planned there, and it just – for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out. So I've just always wanted to go up there.
Jay says, I guess if it's 200, the band won't even make the trip. I don't know if you have the $1 million. Maybe it's 200 beyond the $1 million.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
All right, Odie's brings you the first part of the show here. Our good friends there at Odie's.
Yeah, hey, look, if you're looking for not only a great meal, what about live music? You got it tonight at Odie's Tavern right there. The original location in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Both locations will have the live music, of course. Both locations also have the incredible food from Rodney Davis. He's been doing it almost 4 decades now. The wings, the great sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich, fantastic burgers, the chili with the side of grilled cheese, ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Birmingham institution, it's Odie's Tavern.
And our friends at the Pants Store, if you are one of the fortunate few that could get a ticket to Oklahoma and Alabama, you can gear up at the Pants Store. They got all the game day gear you need, the collegiate patch collection, big for the ladies, great Christmas gift ideas. And don't forget their 12 deals of December continuing today. And you can get that online, pantstore.com, pantstore.com. You can see everything they've got going on there, including great deals, 10% off anything over $50, 15 over $100, 20 over $200, and 25 over $300 in store only. So you can see that right there at pantstore.com, pantstore.com. Great gift idea for that loved one in your life. And we've got a tremendous event coming up with them next Friday, 1 week from today. We can unveil that now, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So Pants Store has been very, very generous to get involved with our friends, one of our favorite charities, Folds of Honor. And if you don't know what Folds of Honor is an organization that gives scholarships to children of men and women who have unfortunately lost their life or been disabled or earned a Purple Heart and serving the military, and now also first responders. They've grown to the point that they can help first responders as well. It's something insane, like 93% of the donations go straight to the recipients. So it is a very lean operation there. And our friends at Anheuser-Busch introduced us to Folds of Honor. They have long been a supporter of them. Over $30 million they've donated to them. And a couple years ago, we were able to give a couple of the scholarship recipients a shopping spree. And Pants Store stepped up and they're like, we want to get involved with that too. So we've selected a couple of scholarship recipients, and we're going to take them on a shopping spree at Pants Store Friday.
Yeah, can't wait. We really appreciate, everybody from Folds of Honor getting involved in this. Our friend Michael G. that owns the Pants Store. When we reached out to him, he was like absolutely 100% all about this. So can't wait. Going to be a lot of fun.
Great organization. If you're looking for somewhere end of the year giving, we highly, highly recommend Folds of Honor. We are nothing in this country without the United States veteran, and they make sure those families are taken care of the way they should be taken care of, which our government fails doing that miserably. So thank God for organizations like Folds of Honor that take care of that. Really, when you think about it, why do we have to have an organization to give a college scholarship to a child of a deceased military member?
Absolutely amazing.
How our government doesn't do that is beyond me.
Despicable.
But thank God for Folds of Honor to do that. All right, we had football last night in the NFL. Scott's team just ruined a draft pick number, but they also ruined Tampa Bay last night. What a great uniform game to start with.
It was a great uniform game. How they don't have those uniforms week in, week out makes no sense. I know people are a little indifferent on Tampa Bay's creamsicle. Like when they had creamsicle full-time, we all remember those days. A lot of people were like, those are the worst uniforms in football. Now that they went away and they come back on a, 1 or 2 times a year basis, I think people are like, those uniforms are awesome. I don't know why they don't bring them back full time. They're so much better than their regular uniforms. And the Falcons red helmet, as Forrester said yesterday, by far the best. But what a awful loss for Tampa Bay. I'll tell you this. I had the Falcons plus 4.5 last night at Lance's Lock.
Okay.
And when Tampa scores their final touchdown and they get the 2-point conversion and go up 14, I was like, okay, I'm going to shut this down and I'm going to switch to something else. But it was so late in the night, I was like, I'm not going to start, an hour documentary or something or get into a show. I'm just going to ride this thing out. And boy, am I glad I did. I have no idea how Atlanta scores 2 touchdowns, 2 failed 2-point conversions, still get ball back. The fumble by Darnell Mooney and how he was able to recover that inside the 10 that led to the touchdown where they still didn't get the 2-point conversion. How he got that back was crazy. And then the Kirk Cousins sack, before they go down and get the game-winning field goal, how Tampa didn't get on that. I mean, those were 95% of the time Tampa Bay gets those fumble recoveries on both of those.
Yeah, that was one of those where you watched it and everything that had to go right for the Falcons went right.
It did.
In the fourth quarter, basically.
But
I'm just glad to see that Kyle Pitts still exists.
I mean,
Forrester, I was about to bring it up. If I'm a Falcons fan, how does Raheem Morris not say it? And I've just heard Kyle Pitts is lazy. And I think that's an easy label to throw on him because he was so good at Florida. Like he was a complete matchup nightmare. And when the Falcons drafted him, I was like, damn, he is going to be next level, one of these great hybrid tight ends that is going to be, you won't be able to cover him in the NFL. And especially when you have weapons like Bijan. Now, obviously, Drake London has been hurt. But Kyle Pitts last night is the Kyle Pitts I thought we would see week in, week out.
You and me both, man.
How frustrating is it to see Cousins play that way, though, Scott? I mean, that guy has been horrific at times this year. And then last night, almost 400 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Oh, he threw some duds last night.
He did, but
though.
Almost 400 yards and 3 touchdowns.
But so on the 4th and 14.
He also had the one where he hit
David Sills.
Yeah, David Sills.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, right in the hand.
Hits him in stride, probably scores. I mean,
it didn't even look like he knew what to do with his hands.
I agree.
It was odd.
He probably gets in there, though, and so at that point, Kirk Cousins has got over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, so Seals can't make the easy grab on the sideline, but then on the 4th and 14 makes the difficult grab to keep that drive alive for them to go down and kick the 3. But that loss, I mean, I can't overemphasize how bad that was for Tampa because now you've got 3 games left, 2 of which are against the Panthers.
But that's the good news.
Hate it for him.
I know you do, Scott.
I do.
Y'all are. You say the creamsicles are overrated?
I do.
Okay.
I don't love them.
I love them.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tampa
Tampa plays 2 Carolina games and Miami in between.
Yeah, at Miami, though, that is a really
game.
difficult game. That's a game they're going to be underdogs in. And then if you look at the other side of it, I think Carolina's still got the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, and obviously the Buccaneers twice. I mean,
so what happens in the tiebreak situation? Do we know yet?
I don't.
I think Tampa gets it just based on this because I saw Tampa has a 55% chance of winning the South. Carolina's got a 45% chance. You just assume, based on the way they're playing right now, they split those home games, and I think they probably lose the sandwich game. So I think both of these teams are 8-9.
I think 8-9, 9-8 would win the division, no doubt. I think 8-9 is probably going to end up winning the division.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but I mean that's the good news for Tampa. That was a crap loss last night for you. You would like to have the cushion, but you at least play the team that is in front of you twice. Now you at least control that part of it, but you now have no cushion because you gave one away to the Falcons.
Yeah, I was so torn last night when Zane Gonzalez lines up to kick the field goal because I had already had the cover in the bag outside of a Jalen Carter blocked, take it to the house, walk off, that kind of situation, because the Rams have the Falcons' first-round pick this year. So every time they lose, obviously it benefits the Rams. But I love seeing Tampa go down in that fashion last night because then we got one of the best sound bites, and I know we can't play it from Todd Bowles.
We sure can't. Oh,
no, Todd Bowles.
I was thinking the other one.
Not the one Bijan Robinson's apologizing for.
We definitely can't use that.
Yeah.
No, but have y'all heard the Todd Bowles?
I have not heard the Todd Bowles.
It is Andrew Dice Clay in his postgame.
Like not in the locker room, like at the podium?
At the podium.
Oh my gosh.
It is F-bomb, 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 F-bomb shit. F-bomb, F-bomb, F-bomb shit. I am not kidding. I bet he unleashed 25 F-bombs within a minute and a half.
Yikes.
Wow. Yeah, talking about, people not doing their jobs, professionalism, you got to care. He went off.
Well, that's a guy that just doesn't seem to have any fire on the sidelines.
But he didn't do it with fire. He did it like that.
Oh, he was just monotone?
Yeah, very monotone doing it. And it was great. And I was like, I was wanting to tell Forrester, but I knew we couldn't play it.
Fractional Financial, one more thought on the game before we get too far away from that. But Fractional Financial bringing you part of the show on this Friday.
Yeah, Rod Smallwood and his team do such a good job there. Look, if you're around this area, other states, if you've got that small to mid-sized business and you are looking for help in cash management, budgets and projections, accounting, payroll, annual reports, Fractional Financial does it all. Not your typical contract CFO service. Fractional Financial works with clients face-to-face so they can make informed, data-driven decisions to get their business to the next level. Contact Rod Smallwood and that great team today, 704-614-2083. You can visit them, fractionalfinancial.net. If you've got that small to mid-sized business in Alabama, Georgia, East Tennessee, or the Carolinas, you're looking for a CFO service designed for businesses that need expertise, Rod and his team can help out. Again, 704-614-2083 or fractionalfinancial.net.
And our friends at Bojangles remind you, if you were looking for that unique holiday party idea, catering-wise, how about Bojangles? Those great chicken fingers, the tenders there, the fried chicken, the sides, the biscuits, and those Bo Bites, the hand-breaded chicken tender bites. We recommend dipping in the beach honey pepper sauce. It is fantastic. It's a great idea for a holiday party and kind of bucks the norm, right? Who else can have Bojangles? Well, if they're smart, a lot of people. And don't forget, your college football watch parties go great with Bojangles as well. You can go by your local Bojangles for breakfast tomorrow morning, or get some of those Bo Bites, the hand-breaded tenders, for lunch or dinner tonight. And as always, you can make it bow time. The field sucked last night. Boy, the field was in terrible condition. Players slipping everywhere. They were talking about it on the telecast.
Yeah, and how is that even a thing?
I don't know if they've had a lot of rain in that part of Florida lately. I have no idea.
Yeah, but you would think
it rains every afternoon.
Yeah, and that's part of it. Whoever is the head, what do they call those?
The groundskeeper? I don't know. Agronomist?
Was it George Toma?
He was the sod god, right?
Yeah, they would bring him in for all the big events. I just don't know how you don't have one of those guys that, knows exactly how to do this. When we were doing, I know I've referenced this a million times, but the Cam Newton interview fanfare last Saturday morning over in Atlanta, and Dunaway brought up that 2010 Fiesta Bowl. You asked the question about, Oregon and Auburn, those offenses were lights out, and you get to that championship game, and the offenses And then Dunaway brought up the surface, and Cam was like, yeah, man, that surface was so slippery.
People were slipping everywhere.
No, that's historically been a weird, really weird, how they bring the turf in and out, and it's always been a slippery surface.
But as Cam pointed out, for that game, they had played the Fiesta Bowl like 3 or 4 days before, and they grew a new field for the championship game and brought it in. And he was like, that was the first game on that field, and they had rolled it in, and it was terrible. But, they do that at the Rose Bowl, too, and I've never seen the Rose Bowl have issues. I don't know why.
Never.
I mean, the Rose Bowl is always pristine, and they will tear it up. Like, I remember the first time we ever went to the Rose Bowl, bringing that back up.
Yeah, and by the way, that's what I would do. I would send my guy, whoever my head groundskeeper is.
Yeah.
Hey, look, you need to go spend a little time with the people at the Rose Bowl.
So and their budget is probably significantly different than yours. I'll never forget, though, Alabama was playing Texas back in the 2010 BCS championship game, January of 2011. And they had said between the Rose Bowl, there was a week between the Rose Bowl and that game, we're going to tear it up and re-sod. And I was like, this is a terrible idea. I've seen sod on golf courses. It's not going to. So I went down on the field. First thing I did when I got there, went down on the field, freaking carpet. I mean, you couldn't see sod seams or anything. It was pristine. I was like, okay. Obviously, I did not get my agronomy degree at Jack State. These guys know what they're doing.
I mean, really, who's got the better surface, the Rose Bowl or Augusta?
It's different surfaces, but it is they're a lot alike. I mean, you go down on the field at the Rose Bowl, you cannot find a piece of grass out of place. It's gorgeous. Absolutely. Everything about that stadium is, well, not everything. A lot of things about that stadium are great. I mean, we dog it a lot because it's outdated and it's cramped, and I mean, there are a lot of bad. The traffic's awful, but
I mean, anytime
it's a beautiful setting.
You've got to walk through a gladiator tunnel.
I know.
And I did it again last month at the LA Coliseum, same thing. But they've got somebody standing at the end holding a sign up whether or not you can come in and out.
Yeah, they stop people from going through the tunnel.
Yeah, and
so
that's how you've got to go get your concessions. You want a cold beer? You want a hot dog?
That's right.
You've got to walk a mile to get it.
Yeah. Brandon points out it was just a couple weeks ago Baker Mayfield was an MVP.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the
injury.
injury
Changes.
The AC joint got exposed against the Rams weeks ago. That was literally, now a month ago, and it just hasn't been the same. And this is a Tampa team that is completely, one time you looked at it and it was injuries. Mike Evans came back and made an immediate impact last night.
He did.
Bucky Irving is back healthy. Chris Godwin was on the field last night. Big 2-point conversion reception for him, and I think he only had 3 receptions last night. But they've lost 5 of 6. Like, this team at one time, I was like, damn, they're the real deal. They seem lost in the woods right now.
If you had to vote MVP right now, where would you go?
Stafford. It's Stafford or May. I mean, it's 2-man race. I mean, Josh Allen could play like...
If he plays lights out the last month of the season...
He's got a shot.
Yeah.
I think he's 25-1 right now. Stafford is like minus 240, and then Drake May's like plus 150 or something.
Yeah.
I got Stafford a long time ago.
Did you now? Mm-hmm. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, but I think they.
Has he ever
might
won
disagree.
MVP?
No, he's never won.
Okay, so I was about to say, because May obviously is only in his third year, second year with the Patriots.
Yeah.
So you wonder, the newcomer, does he have an advantage over the veteran? But if Stafford's never won one,
I think you've got all these football writers, and they look at the gray beard, and they look at the passion, and they look at a guy that had all those wasted years in Detroit. And now a 37-year-old could possibly win his first ever MVP. I think it's too good of a story.
Yeah,
if it's that tight, I think Stafford will ultimately win it. I think he deserves it right now, too.
All right, we're going to talk with Auburn coach Alex Golesh, the new Auburn coach, coming up after the next break. Twin Peaks, one of the sponsors of the show today.
Hey, Twin Peaks, great place to watch all of your football action. You can catch it right there at the Lodge. Of course, the 29-degree signature drafts running around the 3D, the Twin Peaks girls. Get in there for lunch or dinner, happy hour, always fantastic with our friends at Twin Peaks. But if you're looking for a place, kick off the bowl season, college playoffs next week, all of your NFL action with NFL Sunday Ticket. They've got it in all of those great locations. Get into one. It's Twin Peaks.
And don't forget you men out there, and the ladies too, but the men, that urological health is extremely important. Urology Centers of Alabama helps you stay on top of that. Everything from kidney stones to vasectomies, your entire urological health. That is what they specialize in. Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920. 205-930-0920 or urologycentersalabama.com. That's urologycentersalabama.com. We got college football again this weekend, obviously with the Army-Navy game, but also the LA Bowl. as the bowl season starts. We've got the
Washington
LA
and
Bowl.
Boise.
Washington and Boise should be a fun game. We found out yesterday it's the last ever LA Bowl, so if you're sentimental about a bowl game at SoFi,
Remember the
you'll
old
watch
school,
this one.
save your ticket stub.
Save the ticket stub is the last one ever. Get a game program, save the ticket stub.
When's the last time you had a ticket stub?
I
still get them at the theater. I know you don't.
Yeah, I don't. How do you buy the ticket, as everyone likes to remind me?
Running joke, but I mean, you don't have ticket stubs anymore.
You don't. I've got a ton of them from old Alabama and Auburn games.
I wish, and there was a moment in time where I collected basically movie tickets, the stubs, all that kind of stuff, and it lasted for like a year, and I wish I would have continued that.
Yeah, you've lost your chance now. They don't even print them anymore. All right, we talk to new Auburn football coach Alex Golesh when we return on the next round.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
You know what, D? I hate being on this highway with all these 18-wheelers. I don't know what I'd do if I got in an accident with one.
First, call 911 to report the accident, and then hit up the gators of the litigation situation. Alexander Shinara trial attorney, because accidents with 18-wheelers, delivery truck, and construction vehicles are complicated. Call 1-800-229-7989 or hit them up at Shinara.com. Alexander Shinara trial attorney. We go deeper. We fight harder. We win bigger. Call me, Alabama.
Physical office location, Birmingham.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champy's is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champy's for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champyschicken.com.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
All right, Auburn coach Alex Golesh in a moment. You said the lock hit last night in the NFL.
Yep, another winning night. We would have had a perfect night if it wasn't for Iowa State letting us down, missing some free throws, missing some chippies. That was a pretty good basketball game. I don't know how much of Iowa State you watched. Iowa State stays undefeated, but 2-1 last night at LancesLock.com. You can get a free play every single day. More winners up and available all weekend long. We've got that bowl package we will release. For more information, LancesLock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
All right, it is our first opportunity to catch up with the brand new Auburn head football coach, Alex Golesh. He's going to get most of the show today. Coach, I'm Ryan. That's Lance. Jim, unfortunately, is under the weather. Pleasure to meet you over Zoom, and I hope your first week and a half in our fine state has been enjoyable.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I haven't, and I appreciate y'all having me on. I haven't done a whole lot outside of the building, but certainly in here, it's been awesome. I feel like we've gotten a bunch done. I feel like we got so much to do, but it's been awesome.
Well, I mean, let's start there. You were a respected assistant coach. You took over a program that was going nowhere fast in Tampa. You turned it around very quickly. You're an innovative offensive guy. You're young. You got a lot going for you. I'm sure a lot of programs kicked your tires. What made Auburn stand out and be the one where you said, okay, that's the one I'll go to?
Yeah, it was an interesting process because it traditionally used to be, man, you'd get done with your season and then you kind of figure out what the heck is going on and you got time. The way the calendar is now and the way college football has evolved, you have to think of things as you're going. And I'm so process driven. I'm so focused on what the heck's going on. It was hard to even think about anything else other than the program I was running. But as we sat down really after our last game and tried to lay it all out, and you've got a matter of hours to try to figure it out. And you're making life decisions, not just for yourself, but for 70 whatever people work with you, and a program that you've poured literally every single bit of your life into, that you're trying to figure out, is this the right time to walk away? Is this the right time to make a move? And for us, it was going to take a unique opportunity, and a unique opportunity that, one, is aligned from the top to the bottom, and beyond even the alignment, an opportunity where you have a legitimate chance to win, and a legitimate chance to win at the highest level. And as I looked at it, as my wife sat down with me, and you've got people that in your circle that you trust, but these decisions, there's very, very few people you can talk to because, one, everything gets out nonstop. There's so much noise around jobs like this because they're important and they mean a lot to a lot of people. So you truly are kind of counting on what the information that you have. In my case, you're counting on your wife that has a gut feeling about people, as crazy as that sounds. But as we looked at it, this was the one place where I felt like was aligned. There was real resources to be able to hire a staff, recruit the way you got to recruit, retain the way you got to retain. And beyond anything else, you have an opportunity to go win a national title, and not lip service that, hey, we can make it to the playoff, you hope you can do it if you build it the right way, but legitimately a place, one, that it's been done at, and two, where everybody is aligned and going in the same direction, where you can actually go win a national championship. And you look at this place and you look at the fan base and you look at the support around it, this is a legitimate opportunity to come in and build a program where you can win at the highest level. And there's very, very few programs nationally where that's actually the case. And this is one of them.
Had you ever stepped foot on campus before you took the job?
So as crazy as it is, I was here 4 years ago, a young man that was in the portal that we came in town to meet with. To tell you at that point that I looked around in any other capacity other than his apartment and get a chance to meet with him. he didn't end up coming to our place. So I guess I didn't do a good enough job, but I certainly didn't look around. I've always heard of it. I never had a chance to coach here in my last stop in this conference, but I've had a guy who's now on our staff, and Cody Burns, who nonstop talked about how uniquely special this place is. And the last time I was in this league, we had a couple guys that were here, that came from here, that again consistently talked about how special it is. And a lot of time when you're an alum, you talk about your place as being really, really special. You don't necessarily, you take it with a grain of salt. You don't know if you really believe that, man, like, your place is special. I get it. My alma mater is special. Everybody feels a certain way about a place where they spent 5 years and then spent a ton of time coaching at and pouring into it. But all I kept hearing was, man, it's just different. It's just different. It's just different. But I've never been to a game, never seen campus, never seen this community. So it's been 11 days. And to be honest with you, I still haven't. But everything I hear and see around it, and really you meet everybody that's here, primarily our players, and they echo the same exact sentiment.
You know, over the 4 years since the last time you were at Auburn, the space of college football has changed so much, as you know. Speaking of recruiting, are you more of a traditionalist when it comes to recruiting in 2025 and building a roster, or will you lean more on the portal?
Yeah, so I think it depends where you are. It depends the program that you're in and what makes sense. For me, what makes sense here is you're surrounded by some of the best high school football in the entire country. And that's not lip service. You look at the state of Alabama, you look at Georgia, you look at Florida, you look at Louisiana, you look at the Carolinas, you look to Mississippi and north to Tennessee. You look at this 250-mile radius, and there is so much high school talent. In order to build a program and sustain a program, you got to bring guys in and develop them. At the same time, you've got to have proof of concept to be able to sell to those young guys. I'm coming from a place where we walked into a program that was as bad as any program in the country, and we built it with high school guys so that we can sustain for the future, and we plugged holes with portal guys to be able to win quickly. I think it's a combination of both. We're walking into a situation and a roster that has a ton of talent on it. The retention of that roster is really important. The retention of the guys that truly want to be here, that came here because they loved Auburn, that came here because they wanted to be here. And then they got to be guys that fit. So whether they fit schematically, offensively, defensively, they fit culturally, but it starts with that. So based on what that looks like, you're going to have to fill some gaps with guys that are ready to come in and play. So therefore the portal. I think long-term, as we build, you're going to want to bring in high school guys and develop them, because a young man in year 3 and 4 in your program is always going to be more impactful, both in the football side, the culture side, than a young man that you can bring in for a year. That doesn't mean the guy you bring in for a year can't be impactful, because he certainly can. But when you talk about building a sustainable program, not, man, we're going to win this year and see what happens the next, but you want to build through high school talent that you can develop. And I bring all of the area up because there's places in the country where you go 250 miles and there's only a handful of kids you can even recruit. We're in an area where there is an abundance of high school talent that can play at this level, that we're going to have to go and attack and recruit like crazy, and then supplement through the portal. Because you've got to have, again, I have proof of concept of me as a head coach. I have proof of concept of me as an offensive coordinator, but I have to show proof of concept that we can do it here at this level at Auburn University.
New Auburn coach Alex Golesh with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. When it comes to evaluating specifically quarterback, I'll use that as an example. You've got a kid, Deuce Knight, who played one game basically. You've got Ashton Daniels, who only played a handful of games, and that's your evaluation of them, at least collegiately. So how difficult is that process, evaluating that position and wondering, do I have what I need here, or do I need to hit the portal?
Yeah, I would tell you incredibly difficult. If I tell you I've watched every snap, probably no short of 5 times. I've gone back and watched film at the previous spot with Ashton. I went back and I had Deuce at camp as a freshman. So I've got that memory where I thought, man, this young man is going to be incredibly special. And I still believe that. Went back and watched high school film. So incredibly hard, because you're trying to make a decision and they're trying to make a decision as well, right? Like, I think that's the biggest difference is both sides have to make a decision, and both sides have to grow a relationship really quickly here, guys. Like that's what I think is a little bit, whether you use the word fascinating or crazy, you're trying to build a relationship really quickly, and you're trying to see if it works on both sides, ultimately knowing it's the most important position on the field. It's the most important position in our sport, and maybe in any sport. And so we're 2 weeks in, or close to 2 weeks in, and that's probably as big of a conversation as you can imagine on both sides of it. So we're working through that. But the answer to your question is really hard.
We had the SEC schedule released last night. We'll get to October 3rd, where you go back to Neyland in a little bit. But how do you plan to schedule? And I bring this up because Steve Sarkisian, just a couple of weeks ago said, if we didn't schedule Ohio State and we would have played, and he didn't throw it out there, but I'll throw out a Rice or a UTSA, Texas is 10-2, and with that brand, they're in the college football playoff. I don't think you can deny that. You guys are going to a 9-game conference schedule right now. Out of conference, you've got Baylor next year, but moving forward, do you plan on scheduling these really difficult out-of-conference games, knowing that, one mishap could leave you on the outside?
Yeah, it's an awesome question. What's scheduled is scheduled at this point. And so you're going to get the political answer of we're going to play our schedule out, and we're going to do everything in our power to go be really successful. I think it's an interesting question. You go to 9 games in the best conference in all of college sports, and you have to be strategic a little bit with the non-conference piece. But I do think this, as you build and you get to a point in the program where you feel like you're in contention for a national championship, you do want to go play these marquee premier games, because that's what guys want to do. Guys want to be on a national stage, especially early in a season. And it does give you a gauge of where you're at. And I think Sark brings up a really good point. But at the end of the day, if the situation was flipped and they go win that game, they're in the driver's seat the entire year to go do it. So I would tell you, let's revisit the question a year from now, when I feel like I know where my roster is, and I feel like I know where we sit in the landscape nationally of college football. But I mean, to tell you, you look at that schedule and you say, man, we get an opportunity to go play on maybe as big of a stage as there is 2 years from now. I'm 12 days into the job. It's like when that schedule came out last night, I looked at it and I'm like, all right, man, we got so much work to do that every minute of every day is booked up. I literally walked in here from a meeting and then going to another one, and continuously talking to guys on your own roster. Like, there's really no time to think about it. So I'd be lying if I told you I put a ton of thought into it. But I do know this, where I just came from, we were sitting there looking at a schedule in our 3rd year where we opened up with a top 25 team. Then we go on the road to another top 25 team in this conference. And then we played another top 25, at that time, top 10 team on the road in Miami. Like, everybody looked at it and was like, man, like, these cats are going to start 0 and whatever. And we started the season 2-0, and I think it's set up the trajectory of our season moving forward. So I would tell you, the flip of, man, you've got this gauntlet of a schedule, is when you go win those games, you set yourself up truly from a mental side of, man, we can literally go play with anybody in the country, which when you take over a program that hasn't had recent success, the belief that you're going to go win games is as important as anything else, that there's an actual expectation that you can go win. And so I know it's a long-winded answer to the question, but beyond that, I hadn't thought about what it looks like 2 or 3 years from now would be a lie if I told you I've put any thought into it.
Someone that covers college football for a living described you this way to me: incredibly strict. He's family and football, no hobbies, lives football. Is that fair?
That's probably really fair.
All right, I'll tell them they know you well. Okay.
So I know you get worn out asking, and when people ask about your Russian roots, but we both grew up in the 80s, and look, as good as the Iron Bowl is, the best ever rivalry, the greatest was East versus West, United States versus Soviet Union. So a couple of questions. Do you still speak fluent Russian, and what do you remember most about growing up over there?
Yeah. So, what's funny is none of this, none of my background, my friends, my family knew it. Obviously, it's a part of who I am, but it's fascinating that when you have success, other people get a chance to tell your story, and so this has become a story. It's humbling. I'm super proud of my story. I talk to our team all the time about, man, like every single week is an opportunity to tell our story. Every single week is an opportunity to continue to write chapters in your book as a team and individually. And I think the most powerful thing that this game brings is that if you do something really, really special, different, unique, the coolest thing about it is when somebody else tells your story. And I think when we got on a run at Tennessee and we had success offensively, that was the first time really anybody was wanting to tell my story. I'm proud of where I come from. I'm proud of my background, simply in the sense that my parents sacrificed so much to bring me and my brother over here. They sacrificed so much to give us this life. And I think there's a lot of irony in the fact that I coach American football. I think if anybody would have told you that when I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, it'd be like, what in the world are you talking about? But I think it speaks to the fact that you can do anything in this country that you put your mind to. I think you can do anything if you just put your head down and work. I think you can do anything if you treat people the right way. But to answer your question, I've gotten worse and worse at speaking fluently. When my grandparents on both sides were alive, I had to, because they refused to learn English, and so I had to get used to it. I've spoken less and less. My parents will occasionally try, and my mind just doesn't work like that anymore. So I can speak a little bit, and every time somebody meets me that speaks Russian, they want to have conversations, and it's literally the last thing on my mind. But again, I'm super proud of it. I think it's neat that my story gets to be told. I've never been back, and politically, the way the situation is, I don't know that I'd ever be back. We've talked about it. I married a girl from a little town in Arkansas, and I've asked her if she wants to go, and it's the last thing she wants to do. So I think we're good right here in Auburn, Alabama, and we'll go to the beach whenever we got time.
Yeah, you're closer to the beach now. That's well, no, actually not from where you were in Tampa, but you're closer to good beaches down on 30A. So us asking you to say War Eagle in Russian is probably not going to happen. You don't.
Man, I'd have
Boy, this
to...
would be a T-shirt.
Yeah, it's a
This
T-shirt.
is our T-shirt moment,
Yeah.
hey, and we're capitalists. We'll run with it.
Listen, I'd have to Google translate it or call my parents. And to be honest with you, I hadn't called my parents since I've been here. So that's a great reminder. I probably
That's
should
right.
check
You
in.
need to. Yes, call your parents, please.
Hey, so not growing up in a traditional football family, traditional football community, when was the moment you fell in love with the game of football? Do you remember that?
Yeah, so when I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, they used to, in the summer, they'd send you to summer camp. That's what everybody did. They'd send you somewhere so you wouldn't get in trouble. And you know what? I ran into at a summer camp a guy that was coaching at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. And looking back at it now, I'm sure it was make a couple bucks. And I was like fascinated. I'm like, man, this dude coaches college football. Like, I thought it was the neatest thing ever. He invited me to go be a ball boy for him up in Kings Point, New York. And so I was probably 9 or 10, and I was around these dudes that, like, to me at that time, like, man, these guys are incredible, and got to see the game from the sideline. And I did that for a couple of years. And that was truly when I didn't know I would want to coach it, but I knew I wanted to play it. And at that time, in New York, the high school football wasn't great. The youth football wasn't great. It's gotten way better now. So really the first time that I got to play organized football was when we moved to Columbus, Ohio. And I had always played backyard ball. We played on the playground. But that was the first time I played organized football. And to be honest with you, I fell in love with it there. I had some incredible coaches coming up, and it wasn't long into my high school career where I was like, man, like I want to coach. I want to give guys like me an opportunity to play the game. And I thought it was as a unique of a thing that brings people together, brings people from all sorts of different backgrounds together. It truly is the greatest team game of them all. And I think I learned that early. I fell in love with it, the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, and obviously the rest is history.
He is Auburn coach Alex Golesh. Coach, it's been a pleasure to get to know you for a little bit. Look forward to meeting you in person. Congratulations on the new job, and thank you for spending a few minutes with us.
Man, I appreciate it. I'm gonna try to get you guys War Eagle in Russian so we can monetize it in some way.
Yeah.
As long as whatever the monetization is, it helps our NIL deal down here. So as long as you guys are in, I'm in.
Yeah, we'll kick it back. We got no problem with that.
I've read reports that the NIL is now robust, that you've got everything you want. That's the reports. You've got all the NIL you want. You don't need our help.
Man, we can use any help we can get, brother. I can tell you that. But I appreciate y'all having me on. War Eagle, let's go get it, man.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Take care. Have a great weekend. That is Alex Golesh, the new Auburn head coach, with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys, I'll tell you about them. As Coach wraps up there, you can reach out to them anytime you have a legal issue. Shinara.com. Shinara.com, that is the place to go. They've recovered more than $2 billion for their clients. That should get your attention right there. $2 billion. You know they know what they're doing when they've recovered that kind of money. They have done that by maintaining a couple of core values that Alexander's had his entire life. Integrity, mastery, passion, and success. That's what you get with Alexander Shinara and the Shinara Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shinara.com. Shinara.com. It is Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys. Your impression? First time to meet him.
Look, man, I mean, he is he's very direct. I mean, you brought up the fact that I don't know who sent you that description of him, but he was like, yeah, that's kind of spot on. That's exactly what you want. We've always talked about that. I remember going back to, Matt Murphy, who's in Nashville now, used to work with this big Georgia Bulldog fan. He would come on, and it was when Mark Richt Saban, like 2012, around then, he was like, the problem is our coach is not more like Saban. Like, Saban doesn't give a crap about anything but football. Yeah. And you kind of, maybe not to that level, but it seems like it's nothing but football.
Well, it's what we've talked about on this show. We all love our family. We love our kids. We love one another. We got a good friendship. So we want to feel good and say, yeah, I want a coach that's got all that, right? I want a coach that cares about his family. I want a coach that's able to go to church. I want a coach that is able to go play golf and have fun because that's what I do. But deep down inside, we're like, nope, I want a robot that only worries about football and winning and losing. I want him to focus on that. I want every loss to absolutely eat him alive, and I want him to ignore the wins. That's what I want out of my coach.
I want my coach to be the complete opposite of Scott Forster. Forster goes to every one of his kids' activities.
Right. Yep.
And I don't want, as sad as it is, I don't want my coach going to any of this stuff.
Not that we don't think you would win, Scott, but you go to way too many kids' events to be a college football coach.
I'm sorry,
right?
guys.
No, I mean, it's not Scott, don't take it as a criticism.
No,
I'll do better.
A compliment to being a great dad.
You're a great father.
I don't want my coach like that. And I'm not saying Golesh is not like that, because you saw how he recognized his wife as, I forgot what he called Alexis, the ultimate trooper or something. It talked about, his kids as well. And so, he's obviously a big time family man, but you want a guy that is grinding and working, 90 hours a week on nothing but football.
Yeah, it is. The truth is.
But I think he is impressive, because I think he's got a lot of control as far as you can tell it's his program already, and it seemed like that from day one.
Yeah, but the truth is, and this is the truth, he knows this, and none of us know how this is going to turn out. Silverfield, Kiffin, Golding, Summerall, Golesh, Stein, they all can't win to a level to keep their job.
Impossible.
The numbers don't work that way.
Yeah.
They don't work that way.
Half can't win.
Yeah, so I mean,
to keep their job.
That's almost half the conference that turned over, and most of those guys are going to end up getting fired, and they know that. I mean, that's what they sign up for. So you never know. That guy is impressive, and he was going to get a big job at some point. I mean, you can't overemphasize how bad South Florida was when he took over.
Oh,
he even referenced it.
Yeah, it was absolutely awful, and so he knows how to build a program. And you know, as much as we like John Summerall, and Summerall would have been an A+ hire, this is, I mean, to me, this is an A hire right now for the Auburn Tigers, and we'll see how it works out. You saw the Broyles Award over his left shoulder.
A little flex right there. Yeah. He earned that one.
But that is impressive.
Yep. Again, I'll go back. I've got a friend that's a avid Tennessee fan, and this was before Golesh was ever even mentioned at Auburn, before Freeze was fired.
And by the way, October 3rd, back in Neyland,
That's right. Yeah,
taking on Tennessee and his former boss.
We got some of that coming up. But my friend was like, our offense has not been the same since Golesh left. And this is when he was just talking about him as the South Florida kid.
It's true, but I would put some of that on Hendon Hooker. I don't know about you, and some of those great receivers, because, you know, after you had Joe Milton, and then you had Ira Nico, and now you got Joey Aguilar. So quarterback play hasn't been nearly what it was, but I think a lot of that was Golesh.
All right, let's do the Michelson viewing menu. Find out what Tyler's got on the menu for tonight and this weekend. What you got, Tyler? First of all, Michelson Laser Vision brings it to you. That's the important part. Not that you're not important.
969-8100. That is the number you need to call for more information. MichelsonLaserVision.com. I got the procedure done in 2003. Make the phone call that I made. Very important. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She is going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. How about giving yourself the gift of sight this holiday season? Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, MichelsonLaserVision.com. By the way, real quick, I watched Good Boy. It was only an hour and 18 minutes. Indy's performance was incredible.
The dog?
Right? It literally was incredible. It was, you know, even Maddie was like, is this dog AI? And I'm like, no, this is a Nova Scotian, what kind of retriever? I looked it up last night. $4,000 for these dogs, by the way. Beautiful dog.
Nova Scotia duck retriever, maybe?
Duck tolling.
Duck
tolling retriever. You know, overall, the reward at the end of the movie wasn't enough for me, but watching the performance of Indy, it's a very creepy movie, and I think the majority of people probably wouldn't like it, but if you like dogs, Indy knocked it out.
Yep. Did your version have the sort of behind-the-scenes footage at the end where you see the guy who is also the star of the movie? Oh, it didn't? The director of the movie is also the star.
So that's Todd.
Yeah.
I mean, you never really see his face, and there's a reason the way they shoot it like that, and Vera that plays the sister, same thing. I did not see that because it went straight to, it was on Amazon Prime, and it went straight to whatever the next is.
Gotcha.
So I didn't get that.
So when I saw it in the theaters, they showed some behind-the-scenes footage, and the guy is not really a filmmaker by trade. This is something he was just trying to do as a passion project in his free time. And so it took a long time, longer than normal for most movies, because it's just in his free time. And behind the scenes, it'll show like them getting the dog's attention, like how you would for posing for a family picture or something, a lot of snapping above the head and stuff. And then it cuts to the movie version where the dog looks genuinely concerned.
Well, and what's crazy, though, is like the dog's emotions for every one of those scenes, whatever the emotion, what it requires, you're like, how did the dog do this on cue? And even the motions and where he goes and stuff, that's why it really is AI-like, and that's why Indy, I'll go on and say it, he deserves an Oscar nomination, Brown.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't think a dog could show that range of emotion on screen and look like it understands.
Will the nomination be best actor, best supporting actor? I mean, what the nomination
it won't happen. But like he puts his paws down at the right, you know, and like will kind of close the eyes and ear will go up when it needs to go up. I mean, it is uncanny how like spot on every one of the emotions is from the dog Indy. Now those are beautiful dogs.
It was a good looking dog. We've got a re-release tonight, the Jim Carrey Grinch. I really like this one. It's very wacky, and it's just nostalgic for me.
He plays it perfectly. I just never liked the Dr. Seuss story at all.
I've never liked the story at all, so none of the versions appeal to me.
But I've seen it.
He is good in that role. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, you couldn't cast anyone else as
that. I agree.
Netflix has added the new Knives Out movie to
I
their
saw
catalog.
a preview for this. This looks pretty
Have
good.
you seen the first two?
I have not. I've not seen any of that series, but this one was...
In their standalone, and Daniel Craig is obviously the sleuth behind it, but the guy, Ryan
Johnson.
Ryan Johnson. Man, his level of creativity to be able to pen these scripts. The first two are really good.
I opened Netflix to watch The Beast in Me, and that played right away, and I was like, ooh, I'll go watch that. That looked really good.
Views on this one?
What's that?
Have you seen reviews?
I haven't seen any reviews yet. It released last night at midnight.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed the first two. Did you?
I haven't seen them. I've heard really good things about them. So in addition to Daniel Craig, it's also got Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, and Kaylee Spaney. So good cast.
Great cast,
all-star cast.
And then finally, Apple has added F1 to its catalog. So if you didn't get the chance to catch that in theaters and you've got a good setup to watch movies, I would recommend watching
I've heard
F1.
it's good. Yeah.
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. It drug a little bit for me. 92% on the new Knives Out.
Yeah.
So there you go.
They look good. All right, that is the viewing menu. Todd Fuhrman talks about the games from Vegas next on the next round.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Oh, watch out, lady. What are you doing? Oh, wait. Come on, man. Shouting just destroyed my whip.
Say, little man, you need to call Alexander Sonara, man.
What the hell? Yeah, Alexander Sonara trial attorney. I heard they get you paid quick, fast, and in a hurry. With 500 attorneys. And staff holding it down for clients they've represented in 50 states. 659-777-7777. Or Sonara.com. Alexander Sonara trial attorney suing the insurance company, not the individual. Call me, Alabama.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA-certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
From the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, it is the next round presented by Bud Light. Thank you, Alex Golesh, for joining us in the first hour. If you missed that, you can go back and get it anywhere you're watching the show on demand or download our podcast. And as you download those podcasts, please make sure you set your automatic downloads. That helps us a ton. And while you're watching us, wherever you're watching us, share us on social media at Next Round Live. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and set your alerts so you know when we're live, and hit the thumbs up on this YouTube video. All those things are helpful to us, and we greatly appreciate you doing that. Todd Fuhrman, also very helpful to us. He is so kind to join us each week. Fuhrman is in Vegas, the former odds maker at Caesars Palace, now with CBS Sports. Welcome in, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing well, gentlemen, and the biggest question I have for you guys, will I be seeing you in Norman next Friday for the Alabama-OU first-round playoff game?
Maybe one of us.
Yeah, we're working through the details of that, Fuhrman, but there is a good possibility one will be representing, and then the party will grow if Alabama somehow wins that game.
So you're going to be in Norman?
I will actually be out there. Funny story, guys, that I will tell you. I do radio in Oklahoma City, have for probably close to a decade. Told one of the radio hosts that I was close with there that if Oklahoma found a way to make it to the college football playoff, as long as he took care of the ticket, I would fly wherever that first-round game was. Before the season started in early August, I didn't anticipate having to go anywhere, but here we are, and it'll be OU Alabama for me next Friday, so I'll land in Oklahoma City early in the day and take off on Saturday to get back for some NFL responsibilities. But if the one member of the traveling party is Dunaway, I know he's not here to defend himself, you can just tell him to lose my number because I won't make time for it.
Wow. The rivalry continues between Fuhrman and Dunaway.
Hey, Fuhrman, before we typically go college to NFL, let's go back to last night first. I don't know where you were on this game. I had the Falcons plus 4.5. I knew that number grew out to 5.5. When Tampa gets their two-point conversion, it goes up 14 in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was all but over. That was such a bad loss for Tampa. Hard to put into words. Where were you on the game, and how did the Bucs fare on Atlanta 29, Tampa 28?
A little bit of first half under for me. So when we got the penalty early on that turned a field goal into 7, kind of knew I was going to be up against it. Didn't anticipate Atlanta marching the length of the field to get the touchdown before the half. So small position for me there, so took the loss. I was definitely surprised when Atlanta went down by 2 touchdowns. Their win probability dropped to a shade less than 5%. But there were the Falcons battling back, showing that they hadn't given up on the season. Kirk Cousins apparently needs to play Tampa 17 times a year. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer when his career is over in Canton. But credit to Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts. I mean, Tampa just had no answers. And I think for a head coach that we rarely see get emotional, the outburst of sorts from Todd Bowles spoke volumes about how devastating that loss was. For a Bucs team now that has 2 of their next 3 games against the Carolina Panthers, can control their own destiny, but sees their odds to make the playoffs fall substantially. I mean, they were north of a $3 favorite to win that division. That number down to minus $1.45. And, of course, we'll see if the Carolina Panthers can hold serve as a short road favorite this weekend on the road against the Saints.
While we're in the NFL, the Colts are a 13.5-point road dog in Seattle. Is that a Vegas line with Phillip Rivers starting? Or does Vegas not really know? They just think it's not going to be good no matter what?
It's not for me. If Phillip Rivers were to get announced as a starting quarterback right now, this number should blow through that 2-touchdown threshold and continue to tick up. I mean, this was a quarterback, guys, that we watched 5 years ago before he retired that had no zip on his passes. And now, and I'm not one to body shame, he looks like he ate some of Phillip Rivers 5 years ago when he was at the podium delivering that presser and matched up against this Seattle Seahawks defense. I don't think that's a recipe for success if they're going to lean on the ground game. And so I think it's a real cause for concern that if you look at Seattle in this spot, 2 touchdowns not nearly enough if Phillip Rivers ends up under center on Sunday afternoon.
You know, I'm watching one of our monitors right now, and somebody is talking about the player props for Phillip Rivers. And they're saying the pass attempts 27.5. Have you seen player props on Rivers?
I've seen some, mainly at a lot of the offshore books with his passing total hovering right around, I think, 145, which would be ridiculously low if he was named the starter. The one thing with a lot of those props, at least read the language, because it's typically stipulated that you do have to start the game for those things to be active. But if they're letting him throw the football 27.5 times or more in that particular spot, it means they're chasing a major deficit, and I fear for his health and safety. But when you have to provide for that many members of your family, maybe you need a little bit of peace of mind, and getting beat up by the Seahawks is better than being at home.
All right, let's move to the college game, and let's start with the one you'll be attending. Alabama opened as a favorite against Oklahoma as the 9-8 at Oklahoma team that won in Bryant-Denny Stadium, an Oklahoma team that was safely in the field, an Alabama team that got embarrassed by Georgia in the SEC championship game. Yet Vegas dies hard on the Crimson Tide, and they still open as a favorite. What do you make of this?
This is as much a reflection of how Oklahoma is power rated as well. So you have a combination of factors in play in this particular game. And for me, I don't have a strong stance on the game as of now. I want to do a little bit more digging in terms of the injury reports to see which contributors could be back for the Crimson Tide in this particular game. I will say for Oklahoma, having multiple weeks off, I have to believe that John Mateer is going to be the healthiest we've seen since he broke his hand earlier this season, returned from injury a bit prematurely. And knowing it's a one-and-done type scenario, I would anticipate that Oklahoma leans a little bit more into the quarterback ground game that made them so dynamic early on in the season. But this is a pair of teams that it's a $100 million question. Can either of them run the football to create some balance? Because if they're going to be completely one-dimensional, we've seen Alabama's defense really raise its level of play over the final months of the season while the offense tailed off. We know that the strength of the OU team is what they can do when it comes to getting after the opposing quarterback. But if there's one defensive frailty for OU, it's how they defend the deep ball. So can Ty Simpson have time in the pocket to get the ball to Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams over the top? I actually think the contrarian angle in this game is looking to make a case to go over that first half total. That's right around 20.5, thinking that Kalen DeBoer is going to have an aggressive game plan in store, and we may see Oklahoma with Ben Arbuckle have a few wrinkles of their own, especially out of the gate.
That 40.5 total, though, and look, it's not surprising. Both offenses really challenged right now. But 40.5 collegiate level is, what, 32 NFL?
I mean, it's definitely low because the one thing I'll say, and you know this all too well, LT, when you're looking at going under totals this low, you need more to go right than you do to go wrong to be able to cash a ticket. Because if there's a defensive score, a short field, which is more than possible with these two teams, it's going to put you in harm's way. And in my opinion, it's important to keep in mind where this total closed when they played in Tuscaloosa, which was in that 45 range. So we're down nearly a full score in this particular game. You have a couple of offensive-minded head coaches, or I should say coordinators, that are going to have a few wrinkles. And if you're able to hit a big play or two, there are enough playmakers on both of these rosters to get this game to 20-20 at some point, and you're looking at quote-unquote a rocking chair winner. So I can't get to this total being so low. Am I running to bet the over? No, because they'll probably get last laugh when the game ends up being like 13-10, much like the Big Ten championship.
The winner of this game, and I would assume it's close to the same answer, being that Alabama's a 1.5-point favorite in Oklahoma. It's very tight there. The winner of this game against Indiana in the Rose Bowl, where do you see that line dropping?
So I make Indiana more than a touchdown favorite against Oklahoma. If the game was being played this weekend, I'd make Indiana a 7.5-point favorite against OU. And not that I'd be running to back Indiana there because it's always difficult to lay that kind of number against a defense as talented as the Sooners. But that's where the power numbers spit out with a very similar total to what we're seeing here. Indiana, Alabama, a little bit more fascinating with the Hoosiers opening just under a touchdown for me. I'd make them right around a 6-point favorite. But that's a game where I think you could get an inflated total. And I'd love to be able to go under if we got something in the high 40s. So I think the Alabama defense would be up for the task. And I think this Hoosiers defense is for real as well. So that would be the angle that I would look to attack in the Rose Bowl if we got a total in the high 40s. Should we get Indiana and Alabama instead of Indiana and OU?
I know Mario Cristobal can throw everything out of whack, and I think he scares us to death. But Miami plus 150 is a live dog. How do you feel about that?
I do think Miami is a live dog, but you're exactly right. It's how do you handicap the head coaching mismatch on the sidelines? Because I don't think any of us go into a game like this and have more confidence that Mike Elko is going to get outcoached by Mario Cristobal. So as long as Mario can take his fingerprints off of the game management, Miami has the pieces that can make life extremely difficult for an A&M team that's been a little bit too erratic for my liking down the stretch with what we've seen offensively. There is some buzz behind the scenes that this could be a little bit of an audition as well for Marcel Reed, that he could take over for Carson Beck and Coral Gables if things were to go the right way. But this is a Miami team that needs to run the football effectively, because when you look at A&M, I know what the run defense numbers say, but if you were to back out sacks from their season-long totals, I mean, this is a below-average run defense. The problem is college football still, for whatever ungodly reason I haven't been able to figure out, loves to include sack yardage there, so it changes some of that dynamic. If Miami can create balance and Carson Beck can play a little buttoned up, I think Miami is an extremely live underdog. I just think they were dealt a little bit of a tougher hand with their road to make a deep run, because the one team I'm pretty sure the Canes would have wanted to avoid in the quarters would have been Ohio State.
If I'm Oregon or Ole Miss, is there anything to worry about here? 117.5, Tulane playing Ole Miss, almost more than 3 touchdowns, James Madison at Oregon. Is there anything to sweat here?
For Oregon, probably not. Am I running to lay 21.5 where the number currently sits? No, but I don't think they're at risk for being an upset candidate, given that JMU's offensive line, I think, will be up against it right from the opening kickoff. But I will say that the Dukes have a talented run defense that if they're able to get a few stops, Oregon may find it difficult to win by the kind of margin that odds makers are suggesting. Now, Tulane Ole Miss, we saw this game earlier this year. I kind of throw that data point out, the 45-10 win for the Rebels. The biggest question will be around the Ole Miss coaching staff. Yes, they have the names on the sidelines, but are these guys fully entrenched, the ones that are splitting time between their responsibilities in Oxford and the ones heading to LSU? Do we think a first-time head coach is going to have his team ready to go? I'm not sure that the coaching concerns I have will manifest in this game as much as they will when Ole Miss puts everything on tape against Tulane, and then they run into Georgia, and that would be a spot where I'd be looking to fade Ole Miss, especially if they were to win this game in a runaway against the Green Wave.
So we have the Heisman Trophy ceremony tomorrow night. I mean, look, most of these markets are kind of locked. The numbers are out of whack, but there was a movement with Diego Pavia making a little bit of a run. Any chance you would take a ticket on Pavia right now at plus 1,500?
I wouldn't be running there, because my take on a market like this is somebody already knows the answer. And I think when you saw a little bit of the buyback come in, when Fernando Mendoza drifted out to right around a minus 3,000 favorite in the wake of Indiana's win on Saturday night, there was going to be a small appetite if Diego Pavia can garner votes throughout the South. We know how some of the regional tallies break down. And if Julian Sayin and Mendoza were going to split the votes through the Midwest, I think at this point now it's going to be Mendoza 1, Pavia 2, Jeremiah Love 3, and Julian Sayin coming in a distant 4th. Now, all that being said, look, when we went into the selection committee early on, or Sunday morning out here, Sunday afternoon for the rest of the country, we did see Notre Dame as a massive, overwhelming favorite for inclusion there, and that kind of came as a surprise. I just don't think the same dynamics will necessarily be in play for the Heisman when it's handed out Saturday night.
All right, before you go, Fuhrman, the biggest game in the college football postseason calendar will be Tuesday night in Montgomery as the Jacksonville State Gamecocks renew their heated rivalry with the Troy Trojans. For some reason, Vegas has hit their head, and they're giving Jacksonville State points in this one. Don't understand that at all. What are they doing out there?
Look, the big question for Jacksonville State is how bad was Conference USA this season, and what kind of dynamic does that put into play here? Credit to what they did to even get to the conference championship game before they came up just short, but it was a team that could be saddled with a few more losses. On the flip side of things for Troy, I mean, that's a team that lives on the explosive pass play over the top. They can't really run the football, and we're still not exactly sure if it's going to be Goose Crowder or Tucker Kilcrease under center. While Troy played the more difficult schedule throughout the year, I always worry about that championship game hangover being a little bit more for the Trojans in this spot. If I had to get involved, it would lean towards Jacksonville State, but wait around, see if you can grab the 3. Most likely, this will not be a game, despite your rooting interest there, Brownie, that'll make my full game portfolio.
I don't know how you let the biggest game in the college postseason pass by without. I mean, that blows me away. You're just going to sit there and watch it? You're going to watch it with nothing involved?
Look, shame on the powers that be that bury this game at 8 o'clock Central on a Tuesday night, right before the Cure Bowl. in the wake of the FCS playoffs, gaining center stage on Saturday. I feel like this is a game they should be saving for January 2nd, so it could be the focal point of the college football world.
Yes, Jack State Troy, man. That was a heated rivalry when I was a kid. All right, he is Todd Fuhrman. You can follow him on social media at Todd Fuhrman, CBS Sports. He is kind with his time every Friday. Thank you for doing that, Fuhrman. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Hey, always a pleasure. Hey, last thing, Brownie, for this game then, does that mean you are going to be in attendance in Montgomery for this game, given the magnitude of what this matchup means?
That is the current plan. Montgomery, from here, I'm looking at about an hour 15 to Crampton Bowl. It is an 8 p.m. kick, which is a bit late. I am an old man now, so that factors in. I don't know what the weather's going to be.
It's probably going to be in the 30s. I'll tell you right now.
I don't think it's going to be
terrible.
terrible.
So this is next Wednesday night?
It's Tuesday. No, it's Tuesday night. Yeah, Tuesday night. So there are a lot of factors working against that trip, but I am planning to be there, Fuhrman.
Good to know it. I'll have LT set a proper number on your appearance there. Right now, we'll open the market at Brownie not to be there as a $1.50 favorite, given all those variables that are factoring in.
The low Tuesday is 25.
Oh, gosh.
That's football weather for us that grew up in the Midwest. That's not football weather for you guys down in the South.
No, you may want to take that number off the board when Lance told me the low 25.
That number actually just got bet out. We took a bet from Dunaway. It's now out to minus $5 that you will not be in attendance on Tuesday night.
Yeah, 25 is a bit steep for me. I'm not going to lie. All right, Fuhrman, thank you. Good talking with you.
Hey, always a pleasure, guys. Enjoy the games this weekend.
All right, we'll see you. Todd Fuhrman with us on the Alexander Shinora Trial Attorneys Hotline. Wow, I did not know I knew it was getting really cold Sunday. I thought it was warming back up.
Well, the high is like 52, but the low is 25, so I would assume you're probably going to catch the low at 8 o'clock at night.
The game kicks at 8. Why are we kicking a bowl game at 8 Central?
Well, TV, right?
Well, yeah. You're going to play it when TV says to play it. Yeesh, no chance of precipitation. At least I'm dry and cold. I'm not wet and cold. All right, Culver's after Jack State beats Troy. All due respect to you Troy fans. I know you have some in this audience. I'm a Jack State guy, born and bred. Big C, little O, CKS. And after celebrating that win, we're going to celebrate it with our friends at Culver's. Now, it's an 8 o'clock game, so we may have to wait for Culver's to open the next day to celebrate it. But by golly, we're going to celebrate it at some point at Culver's. You can go celebrate wins and drown your sorrows in the losses right there with our friends at Culver's. From the juicy butter burgers to creamy, fresh, frozen custard, crispy, crinkle-cut fries, those gooey golden cheese curds. There's something for everybody in your crew to enjoy right there at Culver's. Culver's is the place to go. And right now at Culver's, you can enjoy it on Tattersall Park, our Stadium Trace, and make game day a delicious one. Culver's, welcome to delicious.
Again, 13 days out from the Christmas holiday. This Christmas, treat that special someone to the gift of luxury from Birmingham's best day spa. It is the Woodhouse Day Spa, located at Summit Shopping Centers right off of Highway 280. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including the nail services, waxing, skincare, body treatment, massages. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. I know a lot of guys love to procrastinate and wait till the last minute. If you're sitting in your cubicle right now, just go online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. They will send it wherever you want it sent and let them choose from a menu of over 70 options. But if you do stop by the beautiful location at the Summit Shopping Centers to pick up that gift card or the accessories, make sure you tell Stuart and the great staff the next round sent you. It is Birmingham's best day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa.
All right, Todd Fuhrman giving us those numbers. We appreciate it. Last night was the unveiling of the SEC schedules 2026. We had talked about it on the show yesterday. You referenced the schedule of the Auburn Tigers featuring Tennessee, and Alex Golesh will have a return trip to Tennessee, a place where he kind of made his name. It wasn't his first assistant stop, but that was really where he gained his fame, so to speak, and really the reason he was the South Florida coach.
I had never heard Alex Golesh's name until he joined the staff with Josh Heupel.
And he had some decent jobs before
and boy, the trajectory, though, quickly, he rose.
Yeah, he did. There's no doubt about it. That Auburn-Tennessee game will be his return back. Scott is showing you the Auburn schedule. His return back to Knoxville. I mean, obviously he'll be welcome back. I think he was very popular there. I don't know how emotional it will be for him. He strikes me as a guy that doesn't get caught up in that kind of stuff. Just from talking to him for 20 minutes earlier. Yeah. Strikes me as a guy that doesn't get caught up in that stuff. It is a difficult stretch, and we'll look at Alabama's in a moment, too.
Well, I wanted
difficult stretch for Auburn right there.
I wanted to tell you real quick, and I'm seeing who this article is from. It is Fantasy Football HQ, the 5 teams with the hardest SEC schedule following the 2026 release. They've got the Auburn Tigers' second hardest schedule.
Well, listen to this stretch right here for Auburn, and Scott is showing it to you, so you get to see it for yourself. But if you're just with us listening, Florida week 3, Vanderbilt week 4, you at least get those 2 at home. Week 5 at Tennessee, you get the fortune of a bye week before week 8 at Georgia. Week 7 at Georgia, week 8 at LSU, and week 9 at Ole Miss. There's a bye mixed in there, but boy, that is one heck of a stretch of football right there.
It is. I don't know what Florida's going to be next year. They're going to be improved, right?
I don't either.
Don't know what Vanderbilt's going to be.
I don't either. But
yeah, but I do know. Yeah, I do know. Coming off the bye or before the bye at Tennessee, they're going to be good. At Georgia, LSU, at Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean. Listen, obviously, new coach at LSU, new coach at Ole Miss, new coach at Florida, so you're going to face a lot of new coaches there. But, boy, on the surface, that looks like a really difficult stretch. There's a bye in this, but the 6-game stretch, Florida, Vandy, Tennessee, Florida, Vandy, at Tennessee, at Georgia, LSU, at Ole Miss.
I can make an argument Auburn being favored in 7 games, though.
Okay, give me favored in Atlanta against Baylor. But keep in mind now that's in Atlanta, but a home game for Auburn in Atlanta, and they will be favored.
Yeah, the next 3 games, I think they're favored at home against Southern Miss, Florida, and Vanderbilt.
Okay, so you think they start out as favorites in the first 4?
Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance they're going to be 4-0.
Yeah, keep in mind now. I think we did this past season too. At Tennessee and Georgia, there's not a world in which they're favored in those games.
They're not going to be favored at home against LSU unless at that point they're 5-1 and they've been playing really good football. So I assume they're going to be a dog. I know there'll be a dog at Tennessee and Georgia. I assume there'll be a dog at home against LSU. They'll probably be a dog on the road against Ole Miss. They'll be favored against Arkansas. There's a good chance they'll be favored even in Starkville. Slight favorite, I would say right now. Sanford, there won't be a number on it, and then there'll be a dog at Alabama.
I mean, if you just win the games you're favored in, you're saying 7-5 right there in year 1 under Alex Golesh.
Oh, damn, you hadn't had a winning record since 2020.
I know. I mean, 7-5 is a step in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately for Auburn, that is a truth.
No, I think that there are some fanatical people out there that are like, hey, Signetti did it in year 1. We can do it in year 1. But I do think they're going to be much improved. I would be really, really surprised if it's a sub-500 team next year with this schedule. And I know somebody just said it was the second most difficult schedule in the SEC. I saw a 4-game stretch from Alabama's. I only looked at a few of these schedules.
We're getting to that. Yeah. Scott, let's see Alabama's. Here's their 4-game stretch. There's a bye in this one as well, but you've got Georgia at home, week 6, week 7 at Tennessee, week 8 host A&M, bye week, and then week 10 at LSU.
I mean, that is brutal.
And by the way, week 11's at Vandy. I mean, if you think Vandy's going to continue to be good,
well, the only thing I would say, everybody was so impressed, and I think that's why there's a little optimism still with this Alabama team, as bad as the offense is playing. If you go back to the 4-game stretch against top 25 teams earlier this year where they went 4-0, this is going to be a more difficult stretch. I think these teams all are going to be ranked. I think they're all top 15 teams with Georgia, Tennessee, A&M, and LSU. I mean, that is a brutal 4-game gauntlet.
We did discuss yesterday that week 2 was open going into this schedule release, and you knew then it's going to be a conference game. We were trying to determine what conference game you would want there. I think at Kentucky is probably one of I think we said either at Kentucky or at State, right?
Yeah, we did. We said at State. I do think probably your easiest road game is at Kentucky. Just, second game of the season, Will Stein's first year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a little bit more difficult going to Starkville in year 3 under Jeff Levy.
Yeah. And then that week 3, the return trip for Florida State. You got South Carolina, who had a down year. And State, really it is not a very challenging start for Alabama. Now, we mentioned it picks up once you get to October 10th. That is a really, really difficult stretch. But, boy, if Alabama's not 5-0, and again, I know we said this about Florida State last season too. I'll say the same thing I just said about Auburn. But if Alabama's not 5-0, something is going horribly, horribly wrong.
I mean, for drawing the 5-game road schedule, I don't know how much better Alabama could have done.
So, in other words, the fact that you get to go to Kentucky State and Vandy, even if Vandy's good, playing at Vandy's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal. And without Pavia, look, I think Vanderbilt's going to be good, and they're going to have, new swagger and attitude and all that kind of stuff. But, Alabama still should be a substantial favorite in that game. On the road against Tennessee and LSU, that's tough. But, find me anybody that's got 5 road games that, 3 seem like almost give-me's.
Yeah, you say it. I mean, listen, those are tough crowds. Alabama, how often do they lose in Baton Rouge?
Never.
They lose like once a decade
and
in Baton Rouge.
They don't lose to Tennessee anymore.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little bit different. Tennessee's at least had more success against Alabama. They've won 2 straight in Knoxville.
Well, how about this? There is a chance that Alabama will be favored in every game on the schedule. I know for a fact they will be favored up until Tennessee, which I think they'll be favored there. I think
October 10th, they're favored at home against Georgia for sure?
For sure, yeah.
For sure?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they're going to be 5-0. It's going to be year 3 out of DeBoer, unless he, decides to pack up and go to Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost positive they will be a favorite at home next year against Georgia. And look, Georgia could be your defending national champion with Gunnar Stockton coming back. But I still think Alabama will be a slight favorite in that game.
Right, so you think Alabama, Auburn probably favored in 7. You think Alabama could be favored across the board?
Yeah, it could be. I would say minimal 10.
Yeah.
I'll say probably 11, but there's a chance 12.
All right. More thoughts on that? I think I've got a couple of weeks where I can give you TV times already. I'm gonna challenge myself to give you some TV times. We'll come back to the SEC schedules in just a moment. Greg from Pell City, though, reminds you that when it comes time for somebody to get on that roof and check out whether you need some new shingles, Greg is the guy to go to. Storm Restoration Roofing is the name of the company. Storm Restoration Roofing for Greg Nelson. Greg from Pell City is where you find him on Facebook if you would like to. One other thing, by the way, that Greg does is he makes sure he cleans your roof. Now, think about this. Like, if your roof was dirty, you would say, well, I need to get a power washer up there. You know what that's going to do? It's going to tear your shingles up. That is a bad idea. You don't want your roof to look bad, for starters, and Greg can take care of that, but it also helps you when it comes time for the insurance companies to look at it. If you wonder what I'm talking about and how Greg can get up there and clean your roof and make it look better, just give him a call here, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531 for our guy, Storm Restoration Roofing's Greg from Pell City.
Hey, and we welcome on a new sponsor, our friends at Crane U. You saw us out in the Crane Yard just a couple of weeks ago, me and Bo operating the big, heavy machinery. If we can do it, a lot of people can do it. You can get the crane training you need today. If you're looking for a new career or need further training to advance your current one, our friends at Crane U, they offer the comprehensive, state-of-the-art, fully stocked training facilities for mobile cranes, overhead lifts, or forklift training. If you want to use your own equipment, not a problem at all. Team at Crane U will come to you. On-site and on-location training offered nationwide. Make your job easier and your job site safer. Crane U also offers certification, safety inspections to ensure the safest environment possible. Classes are available monthly, so call or visit our friends at Crane U. Call 855-CRANE-U. Visit them online, craneu.com. That is craneu.com, and see what our friends at Crane U have to offer.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Oh, watch out, lady. What are you doing? Oh, wait. Come on, man. Shouted just destroyed my whip.
Say, little man, you need to call Alexander Sonara, man.
What the hell? Yeah, Alexander Sonara trial attorney. I heard they get you paid quick, fast, and in a hurry. With 500 attorneys. And staff holding it down for clients they've represented in 50 states. 659-777-7777. For Sonara.com. Alexander Sonara trial attorney suing the insurance company, not the individual. Call me, Alabama.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Catch up on all of today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen, always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Let's hear from some Pete Golding here, Tyler. Let's get, we'll start with Cut 5. With Pete Golding, the new Ole Miss head coach. Not interim. I guess people know that. Like, it seems like it's an interim situation. It's not. He's the full-time head coach, like, regardless of what happens here.
My man gives no Fs.
You think Pete gives no Fs?
Yeah.
Now, Scott has warned me that the teleconference, Scott, that we got from Pete was unfiltered Pete, right?
Yeah, he was a little more off the cuff in that one.
Yeah, so we're getting a little more filtered Pete on this one is what you're telling me?
A little more. There's one of them where he...
Which cut is that? What number is unfiltered Pete?
I think in cut 6.
Cut 6, okay. All right.
Drops
I appreciate the unfiltered. I mean, there's so many boring freaking sound bites from these coaches.
Yeah. Unfiltered Pete was fun the other day. All right, we're going to start with a little filtered Pete here.
Can you imagine real quick if they lose this game against Tulane with him as first outing?
I mean,
it would
seriously,
be a disaster.
Is there a chance they reverse course?
Yeah.
Is there a chance Keith Carter comes out and says,
yeah,
hey, mistake, our bad, we've bought Pete out?
No, I think Pete probably realizes that. Like, it seems like on the surface, okay, it's your team, it's your program moving forward. But I think Ole Miss finally getting to this stage, if they were to lose this game, everybody would say this is a precursor to what this is going to be. We beat this team by 35 points earlier this year. He gets one opportunity in front of his home fans, and he blows it.
Yeah. No, it'd be bad.
Yeah.
It'd be bad. There's no doubt it'd be bad. All right, here is Pete Golding. We were talking about this earlier. The allotment of tickets not huge for the opposing fans in the playoffs. So it's going to be a large contingent, you would think, of Ole Miss fans. And Pete Golding was asked, will it be, and what would they expect?
Do you have any message for Ole Miss fans in terms of what you would like to expect from them and how they can kind of help impact your team winning against Tulane?
I think leaving that Florida game, I think they know the expectation. And so I think they've created an environment here over the last couple years. I think you can look at the records across the SEC as far as home, win, loss. I think they know how to do it right. And so I don't think they need a message from me if they can't get up for a playoff game, on Saturday in the Vault. Something's wrong with them, and I know they'll be there. I know they'll be loud. I know they'll be proud, and hopefully we'll put a good product on the field to make them happy when they leave.
The Vault. I always liked that guy. Alabama fans got all over Pete Golding, and I understand it. I know what the numbers were. I know why they were frustrated, but I always liked Pete Golding.
Yeah, look, I mean, right now the Alabama defense is probably better than some of Golding's defenses.
I think it definitely is.
But I think that was an era where you were able to pick apart championship teams, right? Like we needed something to bitch and complain about.
Yeah.
And I think that Pete was just kind of in the crossfire of that. I think when you go back and you technically look at what he was doing and the results of it, wasn't bad at all. And this guy, I mean, I think Dunaway brought this up when we heard the Unfiltered Pete soundbite last week. That's the Pete we remember initially seeing.
That's right. Our first introduction to Pete Golding was when we were media coaches in the Alabama 8A game, and Pete Golding was our head coach. And we were in the locker room with him, and we all came away blown away by Pete Golding. We didn't know anything about him. All we knew is that Alabama had hired him from UTSA, and we came away blown away. I mean, I think all three of us were like, man, that guy is a star in the making. He's going places. And, eventually he ends up being an SEC head coach. I didn't think it would be the path it took, but here he is. All right, Scott says he's a little unfiltered here. So here's Pete. Now, this is interesting here because you got all these guys that Lane Kiffin was like, I'm going to Ole Miss, who wants to go? And you got all these guys that said, don't forget me, coach, and they go to Ole Miss with him now, to LSU with him. Now they're coming back to Ole Miss to coach in the playoffs, right? So Pete's worked with all these guys, but all these guys left Pete. Now they're coming back to work with Pete. It does feel like a strange dynamic, so Golding's asked about that.
I mean, I think the big thing from our players, I think it's at any level, D2, 1AA, the NFL, they want to be in a room with guys that create value for them, all right, and educating and get prepared to play really well, whether it's individually, as a group, and then as a unit. And I think, when you get back to a routine of things and you're doing it with the same guy that you've done it that got you to 11-1, regardless where he's going to be in January, it really doesn't matter. And I think from the very beginning, the guys that are leading those rooms, that came back to lead those rooms, are great men. And there was nothing, prior to them leaving that they were ever going to question whether they were going to coach in the game or not. The question was going to be where they coach next year, which any coach right now is questioning that, regardless whether they're successful, right? A lot of people want them, or they're not successful, they're about to get their ass fired. So that there's indecision for everybody, including every locker room. They're going to evaluate every January, am I in the right system? Am I creating value for myself and my team? Is there a better opportunity? Do I like where I go to school? All those type of things. So I think this group is focused on the mission, not the man, and I think that's everybody from the coach into the players. And so I think you jump back in. Obviously, like in any situation, you break up with your girlfriend and you get back, you're kind of looking around and you're looking at things that you probably didn't look at before, and you're probably noticing some things that were there before, all right, and you're noticing them now. So there are a couple talks, guys. It's the same thing. It was there before. You weren't looking for it. All right, let's relax and let's focus and let's play football. So they're in a pretty good spot.
Pete going very next round and taking any situation and relating it to the high school relationship.
Yeah, I love the analogy there. Yep. Have you ever been around a group of people that spend a lot of time just around themselves? And I'll give you the example off here, but they all talk the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I've got a specific example, and when I tell you, you're like, oh, you're damn.
Yep.
But like if you photoshopped Kiffin or Saban's face or Golding, they've got the exact same hand gestures.
So that's what they're saying in the chat room.
The exact same.
He has got the Saban hand gestures. And
that's going to drive me crazy.
Scott, you listen to a million press conferences, more than I can imagine having to do. Who did you always hear about say the phrase, it's about players creating value for themselves? Who said that phrase all the time?
That's a Nick specialty.
I mean, it's Nick Saban.
Yep.
And you heard Golding say it right there. It was about creating value for yourself.
This one up here, and I know Kiffin does it a lot too.
Yeah. The old hand motions. They all brought the hand motions with them, didn't they? Pete's saying all the right things, though.
No, I agree. And I really, man, I mean, look, we love upsets. We love John Summerall. It'd be a great story, all that kind of stuff. I really would hate it for Pete. I would hate it if they lost this game.
Oh, my gosh, it'd be terrible.
Because they just went out and absolutely – and it wasn't one of those where you look at the box score and Tulane turned it over 3 or 4 times. I mean, it was dead even turnover margin. They just went out and put 548 yards on them, and they just, were up and down the field. And after winning by 35 earlier this year in Oxford, if you were to lose as a 17.5-point favorite, I cannot even imagine what the outcry would be.
Yeah. I mean, there'll be a lot of blame on Kiffin. Pete won't take all the blame, but I do wonder, will it create a situation where at least Keith Carter feels pressured to say, hey, not going this way anymore?
I mean, can this be our question of the day? If Ole Miss was to be upset by Tulane in their first ever college football playoff appearance, do they have another coach to begin 2026?
I mean, that'd be terrible.
What do you say? I say yes.
I don't know, because the more I thought about it, the more I thought how much anger will be directed at Lane past Pete Golding. It's Lane's fault. It's Lane's fault. Pete was put in an impossible situation by Lane. I think a lot of it will be Lane's fault.
Well, I'll say this, and I've never met Keith Carter in my life.
I couldn't pick him out of a police lineup.
But talking to people that are in the industry and people that have been around him and people that have known him for years, there's a lot of respect for him.
Okay, good.
And so, with that said, I mean, it would be serious knee-jerk if you were to tell this signing class, hey, this was the guy, we bridged this gap, he's an Ole Miss guy, and then you yanked him after one. I really think these Ole Miss boosters would have a come apart if they were to lose this game.
I would agree. It's a big upset. I mean, we're talking about a 17-point underdog in the college football playoffs, playing on the road. I mean, that's a big underdog to win. And they've got distractions. I mean, John Summerall has got his hands full too. I mean, this is a guy that just the other day, if I understand correctly, got everything he needed to do done in New Orleans, flew back to Gainesville for like 2 or 3 days, and then is going to come back to New Orleans to start practice week today, I guess. I mean, that is a lot right there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
these rosters are night and day, though. Like Tulane, again, what Summerall's been able to do to be able to get them to a college football playoff, to win a conference championship, is pretty miraculous. And if they were to win this game, because it's almost like Trinidad Chambliss can go out, Kejuan Lacey, just go out, just let them do their thing. And athletically, this team is so much better than Tulane.
Before we get to 4 Downs, Inverness Country Club, our country club home here on the next round.
I got to ask you, are you playing today?
Indeed, I am.
I
got shorts on.
Wow, you've got the hoodie on.
The Inverness Country Club hoodie and shorts. That was the dead giveaway, right?
Brown is part of that country club now. I am. I just don't go like Brown does. But look, if you want to be part of that membership, you can find your sense of community with our friends at the Inverness Country Club. This is a great holiday gift for the entire family. Everybody wins. State-of-the-art fitness center. You, the wife, can use it. Child care right there on site is so big for the kids. This summer coming up, you've got the social membership, which has got that resort-style pool complex, full-service cabana and bar, live music on Friday nights, Sunday brunch. For the guys out there, if you're trying to sell the membership to your wife, I'm telling you, the child care, the social, she's going to love it. Whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. To take a tour of this unbelievable club, call Erin. Tell her the next round sent you. 205-991-8608 or online, iccalabama.com.
And Alabama Power is going to bring you 4 Downs today. Is your bill higher than expected? Well, changes in your energy use, especially with the crazy weather we're getting. Like, I'm playing golf today because it's going to hit the mid-60s today. High Sunday in Birmingham in the mid-30s. That's crazy, right? That could be the reason. So check out Alabama Power's free My Power usage tool. Helps you track how much energy you are using and when you use it. A great way to spot patterns and avoid surprises. Plus, Alabama Power offers easy tips to help you save. Visit alabamapower.com/mypowerusage to learn how to manage your usage and keep cost in check.
First down.
Okay, bear with me, but I'm going to throw out a Phillip Rivers early question here, okay? If I want the total touchdowns for Phillip Rivers this Sunday on the road against the Seattle Seahawks, I put it at 1.5. Are you going over or under?
I can't. Do you think he's starting? Like Fuhrman didn't think he was starting.
I think by them not announcing Riley Leonard is starting, I think Phillip Rivers is starting.
And I've got a 1.5.
1.5. Let me say this first, though. The last 2 weeks out, this Seattle Seahawks defense has not given up a touchdown. They shut out the Vikings. They gave up 3 field goals to the Falcons. I mean, they are playing next level.
And they're about to play a guy that hasn't played in 5 years, and as Fuhrman pointed out, even when he did, his arm was dead. 5 years ago, his arm was dead.
I was listening to some guys this morning on ESPN that are sincerely worried about the health of Phillip Rivers.
I mean, it's not an illegitimate concern.
His football acumen, though, he's got to know going into this. Physically, I am not where I once was, and it's all about quick release. Dump.
These are different worlds, though, but how many old men did you see playing softball that weren't what they were in high school, but they try to leg a double into a triple and they pull a hammy? I mean, once you get out there, you don't think through that, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they were playing, Joe's Tire.
I said it was different worlds.
Yeah. Now you're playing the Seattle Seahawks defense again in the NFL, back-to-back weeks, not giving up a touchdown.
The late window has 2 really good games in it: Lions-Rams and Packers-Broncos. But
it'll be on a TV.
I am so intrigued by seeing him play against the Seahawks. I'll take the under on 1.5.
I heard, and I like Peter Schrager a lot. Formerly with the NFL Network, now with ESPN, and I heard him talking about, the one thing that eluded Phillip Rivers was, that championship. Just imagine.
There's guys.
Yeah, and I saw Bart Scott across, just laughing dude, you are insane. I think it would be an accomplishment if he was to win one of these 4 games.
All right.
But I would go under the 1.5.
Let's go crazy storyline here. And this is a crazy storyline, admittedly. You don't think he's a Hall of Famer right now? Or you think he'll get in eventually?
I don't. Right? I think this, even if this is a disaster, this might help. It just gets him back on the radar of people showing what he accomplished throughout his career.
By the way, it also resets the clock. He's now got to wait 5 more years, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he worries about that. I wouldn't worry about that, would you? I mean, you're still going to be, God willing, you're still going to be alive.
Yeah. But in a crazy, the reason you don't think he's a Hall of Famer is why? He doesn't have a championship?
No, not necessarily. It just seemed like all those numbers were padded. Now, as soon as I say this, people are going to crack back. What about Stafford? Stafford does have a championship now. He was buried with a different organization, but the Chargers just never could get over the hump. I mean, I think he's borderline. I think he's right there with Eli. Now, Eli's got multiple championships, and that's why I say they're right there together. They're always going to be linked, too, because of the draft. I think Phillip Rivers was the better quarterback than Eli.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, but Eli's got the championship.
Yeah, but Phillip Rivers will get in. I'm just saying, again, my criteria for getting in the Hall of Fame is a lot different than most. I think you've got to be one of the 2 or 3 best players in your league for a couple of years, and you got to be elite.
Second down.
Oh, I got some celebrity birthdays for you guys. But before we get into that, think about this. What happens first? Kalen DeBoer exits Alabama, or Sherrone Moore gets his next coaching job?
Coaching, not head coaching.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I'm assuming he appears before a judge at some point today. Those
today
are the reports.
Yes.
You got to see how all that plays out. I mean, those. We'll see what the official charge, if there is a charge, what that is. But if you read the allegations of what occurred, those are extremely alarming allegations. And this is not exactly a coach that has the track record where you're willing to overlook a lot to give him another head coaching job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if he had won a national championship at Michigan, if he had Michigan, a bunch of 11-win seasons in a row, maybe you overlook that. This was not an extremely successful head coach.
I mean, look, and this is apples to oranges, but Art Briles at Baylor. Art Briles was an incredible coach, and then he became untouchable. Again, different allegations.
Yeah, I mean, he's at New Mexico A&M now or something like that?
His first job.
Yeah, it's his first job
and
back.
It's been more than a decade.
Yeah. You've had 2 coaches at Baylor since then. So, I mean, I think you got to see all that play out. I would say what happens first is DeBoer leaves Alabama, not because I think he's leaving anytime soon, but I'm not going to bet on the future of Sherrone Moore right now.
Yeah, I'm still going to say that DeBoer, although if he loses next Friday, it's going to feel like they didn't get to a college football playoff.
It is.
I know they sound stupid, but I am going to say DeBoer will be there longer. I think Sherrone Moore, very forgiving society. Depends, like you said, on what comes out. I'm hoping for more in his family. It's not as bad as some people believe it will be.
Yeah, but when you read the reports, and if you listen to John Bacon, I know it's an interesting name, but John Bacon used to cover Michigan for the Detroit newspapers, and I saw an interview with him where he detailed, as a journalist, this is what happened, so I'm assuming his sources are impeccable. Those are alarming allegations that go beyond just the criminal nature. You've got to worry about the mental health of Sherrone Moore as well.
Yeah,
so.
no, I agree with that. And, Chris Beard, again, apples to oranges, but we remember the departure of Chris Beard and the domestic dispute with the ex-fiance or whatever it was. And, he was untouchable for a little bit, and Chris Beard's...
That was a successful coach, too. That guy had already coached in the Final Four.
I mean, I think we shit on Sherrone Moore a little too much as far as, it did look a lot different.
Yeah, it's only 2 years, but I'm just saying there's no track record that says I'm going to risk it for this guy,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, offensive line coach, guy can recruit. He's going to be hungry when he comes back. I'm going to go Moore gets next coaching job first.
Third down.
Bob Barker would have been 102 years old today.
You got to go strong here. Maybe the best to ever do it.
Then you're not going to like this. Bob Barker or Travis Barker? I think Travis Barker is considered as one of the better drummers of all time, right? I bet he made more money than Bob.
In the modern era of music, definitely.
Okay,
but
so we're already putting asterisks on this, caveats.
But you were talking about a game show host.
Oh, he's the best game show host ever. I mean, Bob Barker's widely regarded as the best to have ever done it.
The AI Bob
which
Barker's.
area is bigger,
It's hilarious,
game show hosting or rock music?
Rock music, but let's don't pretend that Travis Barker was at the peak of rock music either.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bob Barker.
The time he was active, for sure.
He went through one of them Kardashians too, didn't he?
Well, I mean, that's not an exclusive
that was going to
club.
be my next thing. I'm going to go Bob Barker because he is not married to a Kardashian.
Bob Barker went through a lot.
Yeah, but not a Kardashian.
Yeah, he thought he could.
Barker, the drummer, is currently married to Kourtney Kardashian.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm still going Bob Barker.
I'm going to go
Y'all are
Bob
not going to talk
Barker,
me into
too.
Travis Barker.
Yeah.
I mean,
Next one's heavy.
Okay.
Fourth down.
Frank Sinatra would have been 110.
I wish Dunaway were here for this. He says, Tyler, I don't know if you ever heard this. Dunaway, this is back in the radio days. Right place, right time, Frank Sinatra. Not even that
I
talented.
could say that about literally any
Anybody.
musician
Well,
that
it's
gets
not-
a break.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, actors, musicians, all of them. Frank Sinatra or Tom Cruise?
I'd go Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I think I would go Tom Cruise too. But there was that cool element about Sinatra and just everything about him at one particular, not even a moment in time for decades and decades and decades.
But I mean, and there's a weird element around Tom Cruise. I think most people think he's a weirdo.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing for Cruise, I think he got so caught up in doing these action films and wanting to do his own stunts and having this other legacy. He was a really good actor. I saw Born on the 4th of July for the first time ever this year. Oh my gosh. Him and Magnolia. Have you ever seen Magnolia? Paul Thomas Anderson film, the follow-up to Boogie Nights? He plays a motivational speaker.
No, I haven't. I was confusing it with Vanilla Sky.
Yeah, Vanilla Sky fell a little short for me. But Tom Cruise in Magnolia, to me, best performance, and then Born on the 4th of July right behind him. But he is a really,
Very
really good
Yep.
actor.
Yep. The first time I was like, okay, this guy can really, really act was Valkyrie. And I remember not wanting to see Valkyrie because I'm like, how is Tom Cruise going to be a Nazi soldier or Nazi officer? I mean, this is the most absurd casting I've ever seen. And then you watch it and you're like, he's fantastic. He's fantastic in that role.
Tom Cruise is also the Last Samurai.
I've never watched that one for the same reasons. I'm like, how is Tom Cruise?
So I never saw.
It's solid.
Yeah, Last Samurai's great.
Yeah.
And you talk about body count. If you like a body count in a movie, boy, those poor guys, because that was the introduction of artillery and gunfire compared to swords. And what do you think is going to work out there? You've always heard, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah, they literally did that.
Yeah, they brought swords to a gunfight. Did not go well, but boy, the body count is massive.
Lance, you always go net worth. Tom Cruise's estimated net worth.
No telling.
$600 million. But get this. At the time of Frank Sinatra's death, estimated net worth of his estate was almost $600 million.
Yeah, really? I was going to say, man, what Sinatra
it was at least
would do
$200
right now.
million, but it's estimated to be $200 to $600 million at the time of his death, and that was in '98.
Yeah, just for inflation. That's
I've
crazy.
never seen a classic mugshot of Tom Cruise. I see it on small dive bars all the time of Frank Sinatra. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
Holding the thing.
Yeah, and I think his weight on there is 125 pounds. Little bitty fella.
That is 4 downs. Thank you for that, Lance. The Pants Store, a great spot for your holiday shopping, especially if you've got college age. The girls love it. Hey, it's got stuff for the guys, too, there at Pants Store. Go to pantstore.com and find their savings today. It's 12 days of deals. Right there in the store at Pants Store, you can save today on their 12 days of deals. It is day 10, so you got 2 more of those. See those at pantstore.com, pantstore.com. They've got all the collection, the collegiate patch collection for you, men's and women's clothing, the game day collection, all the great brands you love. It is a great Christmas shopping idea. Pantstore.com, pantstore.com. And thank you again to Pants Store for partnering with us. Next Friday, we're taking a few of these scholarship recipients. Folds of Honor. These are young ladies whose parents have been injured or killed in the line of duty for our United States military or first responders. And Pants Store has said, you know what? We care so much for those people. Come shop on us. And that is just tremendously kind of them. We're going to help facilitate that. So thanks to Pants Store for getting involved with that. You can see more at pantstore.com.
So I saw this picture of me in my late 20s, and I was picking up Furio, one of my all-time top 10 dogs. Italian Greyhound.
The fact you have a top 10 is remarkable. That's a lot of dogs.
When I leaned over to pick Furio up, there was a picture of the top of my head, and I was like, my gosh, my hair was like bushy thick. Like, I never, ever worried about losing my hair. And when we started this venture back in 2021, I noticed the crown of my head was thinning. So what did I do? I called Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business. Look, it doesn't matter if it's your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. You start losing hair. You want to maintain. You want to grow back what you've got. Our man, Dr. B, he can help out with this. 205-319-0316, t3hair.net for more information. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. That is it. My hair is more than doubled in thickness. Men and women are ordering products online. Don't even know if they work. Stop wasting money in critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Go see Dr. B and find out what will work for you. T3's got that test. It's easy, painless, affordable, takes seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Again, 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, t3hair.net.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
We interrupt this program for breaking news from the gators of the litigation situation. Insurance companies have a playbook. I repeat, insurance companies have a playbook. Deny, delay, defend. They know which law firms will fold and settle cheap. They are not on your side. That's corporate greed at work. At Alexander Sonara Trial Attorneys, we fight back. We have the resources, the muscle, and the will to take them on. And you don't pay a dime unless we win. They fight dirty. We fight hard. Call 659-777-7777 or hit up alexwins.law.
Physical office location, Birmingham.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final live hour of the week. Hopefully Dunaway back with us Monday. He is under the weather. You see Virtual Jim, if you're watching us in that tacky Christmas sweater, there is a method behind that madness. It is a tacky sweater. We are giving away
Is that
tickets.
Alex Golesh swinging on the right side?
I don't think so.
Well, he's got a little red beard sometimes.
Right?
Yeah.
We are giving away tickets to the Bama-Oklahoma game. These are Bob Baumhauer's tickets. Brooks, why don't you just tell people on social media what they need to do? Pretend, Brooks, that I haven't read what you sent me, and you tell people what to do on social media.
So just tag us in a photo at Next Round Live on all of our social platforms with your tackiest, ugliest Christmas sweater, and you'll be entered for a chance to win 2 tickets to the first round college football playoff game, Alabama at Oklahoma, courtesy of Baumhauer's. And then just for a little extra, anyone that tags us will be entered into the drawing, but we're going to vote on the absolute ugliest one as a staff up here and give you a nice little TNR swag bag as a Christmas gift.
Okay.
How about that?
There you go.
Speaking of swag, Matt Wagner, our buddy, came up, and me and Bo sat down with him yesterday. We've got some new merch that is going to be coming up in the next week. We will give you information
just in
on
time
that.
for Christmas shopping?
I don't know if we're going to make it out for Christmas, but in time for the new year. If you want to kick off the new year with new merch from the next round.
That's how we'll do the commercials. You want to start 2026 looking the best you can? Nextround.store. All right, so all of that, Brooks will have that on social media, and we'll all send it out from our personal socials as well, so you can do that. Champy's brings you this hour of the show. Champy's world-famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com, champyschicken.com. Sterling and the crew have thrown the doors open there. They are ready to serve you some lunch. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, those great po' boys, the chicken tenders, the great sides, the great drinks from Megan, all right there at Champy's world-famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com, champyschicken.com. Did you watch the SEC schedule unveil?
I did not.
Did anybody? Did Brooks or I know Tyler did, and Tyler was watching a movie somewhere, I'm sure.
SEC Network, I think.
Yeah, SEC. Tyler, don't act all offended. I know you did not watch the unveiling of the SEC schedule.
I did not.
I know you didn't. Did Scott or Brooks watch it? Did anybody watch it? Scott or Brooks?
I did not. I was actually watching the Falcons beat Jim's Bucs.
Yeah. By the way, Brown can't shame Tyler. He's never seen Jurassic Park.
Well, I'm not shaming
Or
him.
Die Hard.
Or Die Hard. There's a lot I haven't seen. I'm not shaming. I just knew Tyler had not watched it. Brooks, did you watch the schedule unveil?
I watched about 5 minutes of it to see if our prediction of Alabama with an SEC game week 2 turned out to be true. But honestly, I was in an event at church, and a 2-hour special for an SEC schedule reveal is a bit over the top.
Yeah. I too was. I was at my daughter's middle school choir program where the middle school choirs performed the Christmas program, so I missed that and the first half of the game. But hey, a great job by Mr. Freeman, Blaine Freeman, choir director for my daughter's school, fan of the show, watches the show every day.
Okay.
I've yet to actually meet him.
Shout out Blaine Freeman.
I'm going on my daughter's word that he really likes our show. So, Mr. Freeman, great job with your choirs last night. And Miss Grady,
did they do a rendition of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas?
You know, Lance, they did a lot of songs I did not personally recognize.
Yeah.
Including at one point.
Christmas in Hollis?
This was, nope. I would have recognized Christmas in Hollis. This was not my daughter's crew. There were several middle school choirs, like each grade. My daughter's 6th grade. A large choir there, like a couple hundred kids, 6th grade choir. They were really, really good, by the way. Really good. Like, I was blown away. Now, they didn't particularly sing any songs I recognized. It was the second group that finally got around to Jingle Bells when my father announced our entire section. There's one I recognized. And I was with my father there. Yeah, I'm with you, Dad. That's one I actually recognized there. So,
yeah,
you know.
those school choirs like to pull songs from like the early 1900s and
yeah.
late 1800s.
A lot about the dismal, snowy winters.
Yeah,
a lot of that in the arts.
Sing as a chimney sweep.
That's right, yeah. And real quick, I was going to tell you, one of the choirs, and this is, I cannot make this up, actually sang 2 movements of a Japanese poem set to music about winter.
How many layers? I mean, like, this is a lot of production.
A lot. Now, I will say this. Know your audience, right? I mean, that's kind of what we do here. We got to know our audience. We're going to talk a lot of hockey with you. Y'all don't give a rip. We talk college football and the NFL. Know your audience. They sent 2 girls out to warn the audience, basically. We're about to sing a Japanese poem. You're not going to understand a word of it, but here's what the translation is. So they at least told you up front, you're not going to understand any of this, except there was this Asian lady sitting to my right, and all I could think of the whole song was like, I wonder if she understands this.
So why do it if nobody's going to understand it unless it's just beautifully delivered?
It was
is
a
that
very
what it is?
beautiful song, very beautiful song. Two movements of it were beautiful. But I didn't understand a word they sang. It was all in Japanese. And I assume, I didn't pay attention to what the girls said the words were about, but I assume it was about Christmas or winter or snow or, something like that.
Are you ever told a story and then you have it visually in your head for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
But you weren't there.
Yeah.
So I've got this, and I think anybody listening that knows Christmas in Hollis, every time they hear it moving forward, will remember this story and have the same visual that I've got because I wasn't there. Do you remember a guy named John Phillips that sold with us years and years ago?
Nice guy, really nice guy.
We had a Christmas lunch with a client that we were supposed to go to. I tapped out. They ended up at Sammy's, the strip club on Valley Avenue. And I asked him after the fact, like, how did the Christmas lunch go? And he's like, damn, we ended up at Sammy's. Like, that's where they wanted to go. And he was like, and all I could think about, like, Christmas in Hollis came on, and it's 2 days before Christmas, and all of these girls have got Santa hats on, and all they're doing is spinning around the pole to Christmas in Hollis. And every time I hear that song, I cannot get it out of my head. That all these poor guys, go on this Christmas lunch, and these girls are, trying to, get their kid the stocking stuffed.
Yeah.
Christmas in Hollis.
Yeah, so every time you think of that song, you think of that and you weren't even there.
I wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Was not even there.
Yeah, let me, I do want to give her, she deserves it because she's a teacher. Miss Grady is her name. I apologize.
Probably should have separated my story with all of the educators that were giving shouts out.
My apologies. Yeah, let me give it, we don't do a commercial here, but I'll give it a beat. Gia Grady, also the choir teacher there, so her and Mr. Freeman, but I don't know that she's ever paid attention to the show. Mr. Freeman does, though, so congrats. The last choir sang a rendition of, now this was like a show choir, a bigger show choir, and my wife told me you have to, what's the word I'm looking for? Audition to make this one. Like, this isn't just like show up and make it.
I thought you were going to say act interested.
Act interested. That's what I was trying to do at that point of the concert. We were late in the concert there. But they did a cover of the Beatles' Let It Be. Very, very good. Yeah, it was an excellent song to end on. Really, really good. So great job by them. But anyway, I say all that to say I didn't see the playoff, or I didn't see the schedule, SEC schedule unveil. I think I can predict some game times, but before we do that, I want to, Scott, which ones did you have? You had LSU. Just throw them up. We'll react in real time. Scott, throw them up here.
Right,
you throw up the ones you got. Scott picked some, and then Brooks has a thought, and I'm going to try to give you some TV times.
Hey, do you guys know who's coaching LSU this next season?
I was told Lane Kiffin.
Oh. He's pretty prominent on their schedule.
So LSU opens with, he is right there at the top. So they open with that return game against Clemson.
How many championships is he
Lane Kiffin? 0.
Well, how many SEC championships?
Lane Kiffin?
Yeah.
How many has he coached for, or how many has he won?
How many has he coached for?
0.
Okay.
Clemson in the return game. which felt like a much bigger game than it really was this past season, by the way.
And I can't even, I'm not going to get baited back into Clemson.
Okay.
Me and Forster both got baited into Clemson.
Not happening again.
Yeah, and last year I was like, damn, that's going to be a really difficult game because they've got this coming back and the way they played at the end of the year. Never getting baited in, so that should be a win.
They're now my Purdue basketball. I'm not believing it.
Well, yeah, Purdue has won a championship, though, haven't they?
Oh, they have not.
Oh, wow.
Played for one.
I know.
Could this year.
Could. You never know. You never know. So, Lane Kiffin, the game we all wondered about, it is week 3. We thought it would be early, right? September 19th at Ole Miss. I'll throw that in a TV window for you momentarily. Everybody, it seems like most everybody has a tough stretch in their schedule, like a tough 3 or 4 game stretch. This is the toughest one for LSU. October 24th at Auburn. Bye week, November 7th against Alabama, followed by November 14th against Texas, followed by November 21 against Tennessee. That's if Auburn is any good, that is a tough 4-game stretch right there.
I would agree.
Because I think Alabama, Texas, Tennessee all will be. That's a tough stretch. But week 3 is the one everybody will pay attention to. At Ole Miss. All right, what you got next, Scott?
Let's go Longhorns.
All right, hook 'em. Here we go. Texas Longhorns will open.
By the way, whatever this website was, they said Texas has the most difficult schedule of 2026 on paper in the SEC.
All right, well, let's rest here for a moment. So this is supposed to be the SEC's most difficult schedule, according to one analyst. Obviously, Texas State, UTSA out of conference. We're not going to spend time on that. But they do play Ohio State at home week 2. Then they are at Tennessee, followed by the Red River Shootout after a bye. So their bye comes week 5. Red River Shootout, then Florida, then Ole Miss, then State, all at home. At Missouri, at LSU, Arkansas, at A&M. At first blush, it does not strike me as the most difficult in the SEC.
I think in order to have the most difficult, and I would have to go through this, you've at least got to play the 5 road games, right? They're only playing 4 road games. I mean, that's got to be a factor in this. If you're getting the additional, the imbalance of the 9-game conference schedule, every other year you're going on the road 5 times. They're only going on the road 4 times.
Yeah, and one of the neutral site in Dallas, which if I follow that right, that means that's their home game that is neutral site, right? If they've only got the 4 road games.
Yeah.
It could be their road game. I don't know which one it is.
Well, with all that said, at Tennessee ranked, at LSU ranked, at A&M ranked, and at Mizzou, good chance all 4 teams they play on the road will be ranked, and obviously Oklahoma will be.
Yeah. So that's supposed to be the toughest. I don't look at that and think that's the toughest, honestly.
Maybe what gets them over the top to be the toughest is, they're going to be arguably the I don't know if it's arguable, the toughest out-of-conference game, Ohio State. I know it's in Austin, but has anybody else got an out-of-conference game like that in conference?
I ran through those yesterday, and I threw it away. To answer your question, no. Clemson would probably be the next most difficult out-of-conference off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think that might be the factor that at least whoever this guy was that put in the article, most difficult schedule.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that Georgia definitely does not have a game like that.
Yeah. Brooks, you argue. What about this schedule? What's your argument about this schedule, Brooks?
I think it's the easiest schedule in the SEC. I think the defending champions get the easiest schedule. They leave the state of Georgia 4 times the entire season. They have essentially 8 home games. The cocktail party is going to be in Mercedes-Benz this next year, and their road slate includes games at South Carolina and at Arkansas.
Well, outside of Georgia Tech, which they play every year, it's an awful out-of-conference. Tennessee State and Western Kentucky, complete layups. At Arkansas, Oklahoma, Vandy, at Alabama, tough game, obviously. Auburn, Florida, and Mercedes-Benz. The cocktail party in Mercedes-Benz this year, in Tampa, I think, next year. At Ole Miss, Missouri, at South Carolina, and Georgia Tech. That is not a backbreaker.
There is only one potential game that they're going to be an underdog. We already talked about it, October 10th in Tuscaloosa. They're going to be favored double digits in 9 of their 12 games.
Double digits?
Double digits.
Definitely Tennessee State won't have a number.
Yeah, but let's count that. One, Western Kentucky at Arkansas, Vanderbilt at home, Auburn at home, Florida in Atlanta, Missouri at home, at South Carolina, and Georgia Tech.
Jeez. Brooks, Lance says you're right. I guarantee you I can't find another SEC team that's double digit in 9 games.
Yeah, I can only find one potential loss on that schedule.
At Alabama?
Yeah.
I mean, they lost last time they went to Oxford. I will point that out. I know Pete Golding is a complete wild card, but they lost at Oxford, and Ole Miss played them to the wire in Athens this year.
One thing I was going to bring up, and I think the next graphic that Forster's got is Oklahoma in conjunction with Texas, talking about Texas potentially having one of the toughest schedules. Oklahoma and Texas both have those bye weeks, week 5. They don't have a non-conference or an FCS opponent mixed in. They play 8 straight SEC games to finish the year with no bye weeks.
Yeah, that is interesting. I was going to get to this in a moment, so I'll save it. We took a step in the right direction of fixing the bad week, but we still haven't completely fixed it. But you're right. UTEP at Michigan, New Mexico for Oklahoma, and then once they're done with that stretch, it is 9 straight SEC games for them. At Georgia, bye week. Texas in the Red River Shootout in Dallas. Kentucky at State. South Carolina at Florida. Ole Miss, Texas A&M at Missouri. I mean, that's not the most challenging stretch of football you could find in SEC play, but 9 straight conference games is challenging.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be underdogs in 3 or 4 games. I mean, I think there's a good chance they're underdogs in Ann Arbor, whoever the coach is. Obviously in Athens, in Gainesville possibly, at home to A&M possibly, at Missouri possibly.
Yeah, I mean, I had not looked at that, Brooks. Great point on that once they get past those non-cons, it is all SEC play for Oklahoma. I hope we eventually move to that.
Well, and based on Brent Venables, this is a 6-win season next year. So
it's up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Michelson Laser Vision, helping you see those schedules all the way across the room there, Lance.
Yeah, if you want the 4K vision, I'm speaking from experience. 2003 is when I got the procedure done. I wore the contacts for about a decade. I was wasting money each and every year on the contacts. If you're doing it, stop procrastinating. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
And Central State Bank, if you're looking for a bank that is on your team and plays for you, that is Central State Bank. That is what they do. They don't just open accounts, they open relationships. Family-owned, community-focused, built on trust for more than 100 years. Central State Bank has served Central Alabama, counties like Shelby County and Tallapoosa County with local decisions and personal service that feels like home. So whether you are starting a business, buying a car, or planning for tomorrow, Central State Bank here for every step. Central State Bank, rooted in community, driven by relationships, member FDIC. I'm going to take a crack at some TV times, okay? I will say your best non-conference week, Lance, you ask about this. Here's your best non-conference week. It is week 2 for the SEC. That week you'll have Arkansas at Utah. Bama is at Kentucky. That's obviously in conference. Let me just get Bama and Auburn out of the way so people know. Bama's at Kentucky. Auburn plays Southern Miss. Out of conference. Arkansas at Utah. Missouri at Kansas. Oklahoma at Michigan. Tennessee at Georgia Tech. Texas hosts Ohio State. And Texas A&M hosts Arizona State. That's a pretty good little non-conference game. When you throw in Bama playing Kentucky in a conference game, I mean, that's not a bad weekend in week 2. Week 3 is where I think I can start predicting some TV time. So here are your 4 primo games in week 3 from the SEC. Florida State is at Alabama. Georgia is at Arkansas. I say that because Georgia's going to be, 1, 2, 3, somewhere around there. Not that Arkansas is a quality opponent. You just said they're going to be a double-digit favorite. Florida is at Auburn. That's a revival of, I think a lot of people don't think of that as a rivalry, but Florida-Auburn used to be a really good rivalry back in the day. And then LSU is at Ole Miss. That's going to be your primetime game, right? LSU at Ole Miss. We would all agree on that.
It's got to be.
Yeah. I think Florida State Bama will be your 2:30.
I would agree.
And then I think Florida-Auburn is going to be your 11. I think right out of game day.
What about the Georgia at Arkansas?
I think they're going to put it primetime opposite LSU Ole Miss. I think LSU Ole Miss is going to be your ABC prime. Georgia at Arkansas is going to be your ESPN prime.
Maybe. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I think you're dead on with your prime and your 2:30.
Yeah, I think Florida Auburn straight out of game day on ABC or ESPN. Probably ABC. Florida State Bama follows at 2:30, and I think LSU Ole Miss is your primetime game. The one thing I'm certain of is LSU Ole Miss is primetime. They put that in week 3 for a reason.
And we've already seen Florida State, Alabama this year was 2:30.
Yeah.
Now, was the original Bobby Bowden, Nick Saban game, wasn't that an 11 o'clock game?
Whew, boy, that's hard to remember. That was played in Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to remember. That was an ugly game. I just remember it being an ugly, ugly game. Week 6, you got the Red River Shootout, which is always at 2:30. You've got Texas A&M and Missouri that day, I think, will be your 11 o'clock. A&M at Missouri. If Missouri's any good, week 6, that's an interesting game for A&M. I think Red River Shootout is going to be at a standard 2:30, and then you'll have Georgia-Bama as your primetime game. That's 2 primetime games I'm certain of, LSU, Ole Miss, and Georgia-Bama.
Yeah.
I think both those are going to be primetime.
Would agree.
Because we looked at Alabama's schedule. If they're not 5-0 going into that Georgia game, it's a 5-alarm fire. Week 7, it's an interesting matchup weekend because you've got – I don't remember. Brooks, you are really good on the history of this stuff. Scott may remember ever. Do you guys ever remember the Deep South's oldest rivalry falling on the third Saturday in October, those being the same day? I mean, it's just now, right, that the Deep South's oldest rivalry has moved away from November, so it's probably never happened.
No.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't think it ever has, and we get it this next year.
I do think it's interesting that Auburn and Alabama are consecutive weeks for Georgia, too.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I looked at Georgia's quote-unquote easy schedule. They do have to play Auburn and Bama in back-to-back weeks. Auburn at Georgia, Alabama at Tennessee, and Florida at Texas that weekend. I think they'll have Alabama at Tennessee primetime, so I think you're probably looking at a 2:30 Auburn-Georgia kickoff and Florida at Texas 11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock Florida at Texas, 2:30 Auburn at Georgia, and Bama at Tennessee in the prime window. Week 8, you've got A&M at Bama, LSU at Auburn, and Ole Miss at Texas. This one is challenging for me.
Yeah, I was about to say good luck with that primetime window.
That primetime window is going to be, in all likelihood, Ole Miss at Texas or A&M at Bama. We're in week 8, so I'm going to need to see a little of the schedule play out for Pete Golding and Ole Miss and see if A&M's got staying power and what happens there. We used to feel like, I don't know if you feel like this anymore, we used to feel like they tried it as best they could to bounce around the CBS 2:30 game. They didn't try to show. Alabama was so dominant at the end of CBS's run. They tried not to show them every week, but they ended up showing them a lot. I don't get the same feel about that ESPN, ABC Prime. I think they just show what they think's the best game.
I mean,
they're like, I don't care if it's Georgia every week or Alabama every week. We're showing the best game.
Yeah, I mean, and eventually you're going to get people that are going to gravitate to the best game. I think that's a way to do it.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And then week 10 is another challenging one. You got Oklahoma at Florida, if Florida's any good. Bama at LSU and Georgia at Ole Miss. Again, this is some of these are if somebody's any good. Bama LSU's traditionally been prime time.
But by that point, week 10 are Florida and Ole Miss with first-year coaches any good?
That is a question, yeah. And we didn't, here's my last observation here. We did not fix completely the bad weekend, but we helped it. Still in the bad weekend, you've got Tennessee, Chattanooga playing Alabama, Samford playing Auburn, Wofford playing Ole Miss, and Tennessee Tech playing Mississippi State. Until we eliminate all of those games and the bad weekend, we haven't fixed it, in my opinion. I think it needs to be all SEC games that weekend. Hopefully we're
gravitating towards that.
Yeah, we're down to 4.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 4 games that we're down to, but that's still too many. 4 is too many. I mean, there's nobody that wants to see Chattanooga, Samford, and Wofford, and Tennessee Tech on that weekend, with all due respect to those teams.
Yeah, but I do wonder if a lot of SEC teams feel like it's a mini bye. And
oh, they do. They love it, but that doesn't make it good. In fact, makes it bad. Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken is bringing you this hour of the show, champy'schicken.com. Champy'schicken.com is always here for the lunch hour on the next round, and they are open all weekend for you at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. You can go see Sterling and the gang there all weekend long, get some of that great Champy's fried chicken and some of that Southern comfort food, not just the fried chicken, those chicken fingers, but also those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, the great po' boys, great drinks, great sides, all right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and always at champy'schicken.com.
Hey, you got to make sure you're getting the proper sleep every single night. Our friends, the O'Neill brothers, Joe and Woody, they want to make sure that is the case with CPAP. CPAP Plus and O'Neill Medical, and they've got a great promotion going on right now through the 31st of this month. If you're on a CPAP, listen up. Our friends at O'Neill Medical, CPAP Plus, running the Show Your Score promotion right now. Just stop by one of those Birmingham locations, Pelham, Trustful, Inverness on Highway 280. No appointment needed. Show your ResMed My Air Sleep Score. Automatically entered to win a brand new ResMed Air Mini Travel CPAP worth $900. The Show Your Score raffle runs through the 31st, so don't miss out. Get all the details, o'neillmed.com. That is ONEAL med.com.
I said this on the show yesterday, and I'll just repeat it again. I know a lot of you consume our show on demand, and we greatly appreciate that. There are times where things are developing during the show, and I hope you understand that. One of those is right now where Sherrone Moore is about to appear before a judge, according to Pete Thamel, in about half an hour from right now as you listen live, that Sherrone Moore will have his arraignment, Lance. And per the release from the court has received information. A complaint will be filed by the county prosecutor's office. As soon as we have charging information, that will be shared, they said. Pending determination of probable cause by the judge, arraignment on this case will be today. So we will get at 1 o'clock, that's Eastern time, so coming up about half an hour as you listen live. So I guess we'll get a little bit of a clarity, at least on what the charges are against Sherrone Moore. And that will probably educate you as to what his future looks like in college football.
Yeah, I heard from someone that he wasn't the most liked guy in Ann Arbor, and I don't know if that was for off-field behavior or if it was for the simple fact that they just didn't think he could win a championship. But I do wonder, I don't know, I'd be a bad judge. But
like an actual judge with a gavel and all that?
Yeah, because, some of these guys like to grandstand, and I just wonder, you look at this, again, if it's as salacious as a lot of people believe, there are going to be additional charges, but if some of this got blown out of proportion, which happens a lot of times, if you're the judge, you're like, damn, this guy's already lost his gig, and he's probably lost his wife and kids.
Paid a big enough price already, is what you're saying? Yeah, if it's not, if it's not what it appears to be on the surface.
If it's criminal and, it needs to be pursued, I get it. But even in 4 downs, when I mentioned what happens first, Kalen DeBoer leaving his current post at Alabama, or Sherrone Moore getting his next gig, and we're talking about a position coach or an advisor. What am I looking for?
An analyst?
Yeah, an analyst. Yeah. One of those positions, and you were like, that ain't happening anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think this will be, for just his future period, this will be interesting to see what the charges are. I saw Andy Staples on with Jim Rome. I just saw a cut from that before the show today. Our buddy Andy Staples on with Jim Rome. And Andy was making the case, for people that think this was just Michigan's fed up with Sherrone Moore and, let's get him out of here. Andy was like, they would have done that before signing day in all likelihood. He goes, you've put yourself in a spot right now where you've got to scramble to find a coach before the portal opens. Now, today is December 12th. The portal doesn't open until January 2. Andy maintained you would have done it before signing day. You said yesterday that it seems fishy you do it after signing day because now all these guys are locked in.
Yeah, I do think. I think they probably knew about it. Look, they've been digging for a while.
Well, I've read stuff.
I heard it goes back to last year.
Yeah, I've read stuff too where people this was the worst kept secret at Michigan football. Everybody knew this was going on. It just came to a head the other day, and there was nothing Michigan could do about it. You start. Listen, we're not going to sit here and do it, but you can start putting puzzle pieces together and kind of figure out what happened here, right?
Right.
But there were a lot of people. You read all the national media. They're like. People inside of Michigan football say this was the worst kept secret in the building. Everybody knew this was happening. Everybody knew it. It just came to a head publicly the other day in the most dramatic fashion possible. So, wild situation still unfolding there in Ann Arbor.
What was and look, I didn't really get into it, but I saw where the Michigan chancellor was asking the Michigan students, if they know anything about Sherrone Moore to...
Oh my God.
Yeah, I saw something...
after the deal or before?
Yesterday.
Yes, I think you've got enough. You fired the guy.
I don't know, man. I've seen some crazy allegations, though.
Yeah. Oh, the allegations are crazy and in some cases scary, but still, holy crap! If you've got the president out there asking, if you know anything about this guy, let me know. He was your most important employee for the last 2 years. If you don't know, what are we going to know?
Yeah,
right?
But it's almost like you remember the documentary where on the Curb Your Enthusiasm, the guy got cleared of murder when he was in the Dodgers game in attendance. And so they had to go back and review all of this stuff. And so they were looking for anybody that had anything on this guy. So you just wonder if we're going to get videos of Sherrone Moore and a certain establishment in Ann Arbor. I don't know. I don't know what they're looking for.
I'm sure it's like the Tiger Woods situation. Once it got started, how much came out? That's what will happen.
But I don't know if you've seen Eric Morris, the new head coach at Oklahoma State.
I've not seen anything about him.
He's a tiny man, former slot receiver for Texas Tech. Okay, right. So he walks into a bar. He's going to blend. Sherrone Moore walks into a bar.
Yes.
You lose all the light that is in that doorway when he walks through it.
Yeah.
He is that massive.
People are going to know him.
Yeah, and they're going to be
he's
like...
the Michigan coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, as we go to break, we'll do trash when we return. A reminder, when it comes time to redo the master bath or the kitchen or the master bedroom closet or really any part of your house, Brad Bell is the go-to guy. When it came time to do that in our house, Brad was the guy my wife selected. She scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. Brad Bell was the guy she picked. We're glad she did. He did tremendous work. I mentioned those rooms, master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets, not because it's all he does, but because he knows the importance of those rooms. When you live in your home, you spend a lot of time in those rooms. When you go to sell your home, you can make some of the money back on the money you spend to update these rooms. You can always see more at alabamabathremodels.com. That's alabamabathremodels.com. Or give Brad a call, 205-422-1758, and let him come look at your job that you have in your home and see what he can do for you. He's going to do it to your vision. That's what Brad does. Alabama Bath Remodels are 205-422-1758.
We interrupt this program for breaking news from the gators of the litigation situation. Insurance companies have a playbook. I repeat, insurance companies have a playbook. Deny, delay, defend. They know which law firms will fold and settle cheap. They are not on your side. That's corporate greed at work. At Alexander Sonara Trial Attorneys, we fight back. We have the resources, the muscle, and the will to take them on. And you don't pay a dime unless we win. They fight dirty. We fight hard. Call 659-777-7777 or hit up alexwins.law.
Physical office location, Birmingham.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger, made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I don't know which late night show created this. I was watching a funny interview, though, with Conan O'Brien and Will Arnett. Do you like Will Arnett?
He's fine. Yeah. Very dry.
You like Will Arnett?
Yeah, he's not bad.
Yeah, it was funny. It was talking about the death of Conan O'Brien's parents. Have you seen that, Tyler? It's pretty
I saw
funny.
that clip, and it is hysterical, but
Yeah.
also kind of disturbing a little bit that would be somebody's process.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, I guess if humor's your thing, you're going to grieve with humor, right?
Right.
And Conan O'Brien even says, like, my dad would have found this hilarious. Now, he didn't say that about his mom, but I'm assuming she would too. But it's just funny. It's a text thread that went between Jason Bateman, Conan O'Brien, and Will Arnett after the death of Conan O'Brien's parents, and you got comedians that just they handle it that way, right? I mean, that's honestly kind of the way I handle difficult moments is through making jokes about it, making light of it.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it seems insensitive at the time, but it's the way I deal with it, right? No, it's very, very funny. I don't know that he created this. Do you know who was the late night show that created the unnecessary censorship bit?
Brooks says it's Kimmel.
Kimmel? Saybear used to do it for us. You remember Saybear used to do it for us, Lance. He would just, when we were at Jock, Saybear would just take a random segment of the show and do unnecessary censorship. And it was always very funny. John was very good at doing that. We're about to play for you. Lance started the show by saying, we can't play Todd Bowles after the game last night. Well, we're about to do it. And it's going to sound like unnecessary censorship, but every single censorship is completely necessary here, and it's going to blow you away. And he never raises his voice. New York Butcher Shop, though, great holiday idea. They're bringing you part of the show.
Hey, look, our man Brett from New Mexico just reached out a couple of days ago, and he said, I ordered my entire Christmas meal through the New York Butcher Shop. I saw our friend Jim yesterday. Hey, it's easy turnkey. I did it for Thanksgiving, had all the great sides, just threw them in the oven, actually did it myself. That shows you how easy it is, and you can do your Christmas feast the same way. They are taking reservations right now at both locations, Cabo Heights and Greystone. You can stop in this weekend, pick up the finest in meats, the great side dishes, fantastic selection of wines and desserts, rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
And a reminder this hour, always presented by Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Champy'sChicken.com is the website to go to, Champy'sChicken.com, if you want to see more about Sterling's operation there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Champy'sChicken.com. Great place for lunch, dinner, or anything over the weekend. Champy'sChicken.com. All right, it was a brutal loss for the Buccaneers. Scott's Falcons, they're not even costing themselves. I thought about this when Lance brought it up, Scott. Your Falcons won the game. You're not even costing yourself a draft pick. You're costing Lance a draft pick in this win. This win had nothing to do with you, really. It was a free pop for you.
That's right. We beat both Jim and Lance's teams.
That's true.
Yeah.
That was a loss for you and Jim.
But I was
night.
pulling for you.
Even if it hurt your draft pick.
Well, like I'm one of these, and I know there's a ton of people that are listening to us right now that when they gamble, if the team that does their work for 60 minutes is going to cover for you, you kind of want them to win the game. And so when Gonzalez lined up, I was like, man, you guys came back from 14 down, go want to make the field goal.
Yeah.
Let's kick Tampa right in the dick. That's what they did. Now, if my team is gonna If I've got a favorite, let's say that I'm laying 7.5 and they're up 4 and the other team's got the ball, if you're not going to get a pick six, I want you to lose.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my philosophy.
I see how that works now. So Lance came in and said, that was a brutal loss. Did y'all see Todd Bowles? We can't even play it. Well, Brooks has gotten it to the point we can play it. Here is Todd Bowles. I want you to notice two things. Number one, the amount of profanity. How long is this piece of video here?
It is about 30 seconds,
Okay.
and Brooks said he placed, I believe, 10 bleeps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
pretty good rate
told
there.
you. I mean, I don't know why we can't play it in its entirety with a little disclaimer. I think it's more fun like that.
No, it's more fun with the bleeps.
I disagree.
No, you're wrong. Listen to it with the bleeps because he never even raises his voice.
Well, I've just never heard Todd Bowles even cuss.
Exactly.
That was what was so amazing.
That's what's great with the bleeps. Listen to it.
What do you tell them in the locker room after a game like this?
It's inexcusable. You don't make excuses. You got to care enough where it hurts. You got to care enough where it hurts. It got to mean something to you. It's more than a job. It's your livelihood. How well do you know your job? How well can you do your job? Well, you can't sugarcoat that. It was inexcusable, and there's no answer for it. There's no excuse for it. That's what you tell them in the locker room. Look in the mirror.
I didn't exaggerate it, right?
No, you did not. I'd not heard it until just that moment.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's he is so monotone. mean, that guy, he
never raises
is
his voice once.
Even kill. It's almost like, Kalen DeBoer is so even kill, good or bad. You'll see him lose it a little bit once every 3 or 4 games. Same with Todd Bowles.
Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, like the guy, you drop that many F-bombs in 30 seconds, you do it at a very loud volume, right? Not that dude.
Nope.
Never even got fired up.
That's impressive, actually.
Yeah, it really is.
It sounded like a Key and Peele skit or something. Like, I could definitely see them doing that. Just have a coach be very dry and monotone.
And just drop a bunch of F-bombs.
Things imaginable.
All right, we're going to head to trash. It's going to be presented today by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. They also bring you that lock Lance referenced earlier at Hemp Hill.
205-229-2090. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, cooling, any of those issues arise in your home or business. They are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. And pretty soon we're going to be calm in this country.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Calm this country.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Weekend is here. Pick up some delicious Bud Light. We don't have confirmation yet, Shane Steichen, and whether the Colts are going to go with Phillip Rivers or Riley Leonard on Sunday. We do have confirmation, and you saw this guy play last week. The New York Jets rookie Brady Cook will get his first start against the Jags.
It was not great.
I don't think it's – Jags have got an underrated defense. I don't think it's going to be great there.
The Dolphins do not. The Dolphins' defense is rated just about right, and he could do nothing against them.
So a woman has gone viral on TikTok after booking a driverless taxi for her daughter, only to find out a man mysteriously, quote, trapped in the trunk.
Okay, I'm going to need some details.
There have been a number of issues with the driverless vehicles. They have been known to violate road traffic laws, leaving police baffled when they pull them over, and some have dropped customers off in the middle of the traffic. We just saw this week where, not a hostage situation, but a guy was detained by police, and he was on the ground, and the Waymo drives right into the mix of everything. Now, this woman has gone viral after experiencing a different problem with them, finding a man trapped in the trunk. The woman, TikToker Lucky Thurman, had ordered a car for her daughter only to find a man peering from behind the passenger seats in the back. Quote, "Why the F are you in the trunk?" she asked in her video that has since racked up over 4.5 million views. Quote, "I'm trying to figure this out," he replied. "This shit wouldn't let me out. They just piled me in here. The people, that's what I'm saying." Now, the TikToker followed it up with the second video proving that it wasn't fake or a skit, in that she showed the mystery man being detained by police as they questioned him. Lucky Thurman then revealed that the man was ultimately let go by the police. She also received a credit from Waymo because of the situation, and a new car was ordered for her trip.
You don't think he could climb over the back seat and get out of there? Does it not look like that? Am I missing something here?
I mean, maybe not. I mean, that looks pretty tight.
Okay.
Yeah, I still don't understand this.
That's not how big a guy is. Yeah, so how do you open the back of a Waymo?
Well, did he say in the article that somebody put him back there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like he got pranked and he was just trying to get out.
Yeah, but my point is, how do you?
Is this a pledge situation?
Could be.
Yeah.
But there have been other stories we've had on here where people will order Waymos to the airport and then they can't get out. The door
will not open at the airport?
Stays locked because it says the trip's still going as they drive in circles around the parking
Well, what do you
lot.
do at that point? You got to call Waymo or something like that?
Yeah, that's what that guy had to do.
Yeah, like call customer service, say, "Can you unlock my door, please?" "Are you outside, sir?" "No, I'm in Denver."
So, disturbing story here. A Florida man who records, quote, videos of himself eating raw animal meat for social media content was arrested Monday for slicing open a dead hog and biting into its flesh.
Oh, no.
Now, according to police, Jonathan Houston, 27, brought the hog's carcass to a public sidewalk in the Midtown Beach area on November 23rd. With his camera rolling, Houston then began biting into the carcass, tearing out chunks of the dead animal through a slit in his neck. Now, a female witness who called 911 told cops the man appeared to be cutting up a German Shepherd.
Easy to confuse, yeah.
Seeing the suspect, quote, cutting the animal's torso open with a knife and spilling blood onto the sidewalk. Now, using a description of the suspect's truck and a license plate reader system, Cops quickly identified Houston and questioned him about the incident. Now, Houston confirmed that he was eating a deceased hog and provided police with a corresponding video, which is on his not suitable for work Instagram page at this writing, about a little over 3,000 followers. As detailed in the court filing, police found probable cause to charge Houston with criminal mischief for creating a, quote, potential biohazard.
So the Liver King we found out was fake, right?
Yep.
That guy was not what he said he was.
He was roided up, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this is Liver King, and you don't even look good doing it. Like, this guy looks rough, and he's eating raw meat, like straight off an animal. Like
Yeah,
the
I would
Liver
almost
King.
say this is like, it looks like Ben Foster, the actor, a little bit with a hat and glasses.
Oh, know him. The Liver King was just like he'd go to the supermarket and buy a steak and just eat it raw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then juice himself up with the human growth
Well,
hormone.
sure, yes, as one does. But
And did not own a shirt. I don't know if you knew that.
the Liver King, no,
Yeah,
he
no.
liked to show you that he was cut up, yes. But that was bad, but this is worse. I mean, this is literally like peeling it off the bone and eating it, which really kind of gags me. I mean, I agree with Scott.
Well, I
and
mean, this is traumatic
Scott
for some
says-
kids, right?
Yeah, Scott says this is disturbing even for this segment. But I
remember
agree.
My former father-in-law, shout out, up in heaven, Julian Ennis, but he had a condo down in Pensacola.
Okay.
And so we would go to Pensacola sometimes, and I remember taking Leighton onto a pier one time, and these two necks were fishing, and he got the fish and was just spiking the fish against the wall.
Why?
In front of my 3-year-old daughter, just
Why?
because I guess he was a violent, like over-the-top, unstable person, but you know, I don't know why people do stuff like this in front.
Yeah, I would agree. In front of kids, yeah.
Just doesn't make any sense.
In front of anyone's bad enough. Kids, even worse.
This one's scary. Would you ever jump out of a plane? I know I've
Nope.
asked you before.
Not going to do. I mean,
Gonna
is
get
the plane
same answer.
is the plane crashing?
No, no.
Is this for
voluntary
entertainment?
jump?
Nope. No, thank you.
Jeeves, would you do it?
If we can make some content out of it, yeah.
Oh, we can make content out of
okay.
it.
All right. Well, let's
Yeah.
make note of that.
All right.
How about you drink the 3 Death Valleys and then jump out of the plane?
That way you don't remember it.
All right.
Okay. We're going to work on that. So a skydiver had a miraculous escape after his parachute became caught on a plane's wing while 15,000 feet in the air. Here we go.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. What do you do here?
Oh, well, I'm going to tell
Look
you.
at the guy pointing like, hey, oh, no. Don't keep jumping out of the plane.
Yeah, everybody leaves him.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't going. I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm not, but what if I jump out of the plane and I run in, I clip him? I mean, that's going to kill us both.
Nah, I don't know if there would.
100%. Do you know how fast you're going? So what's he doing?
So dramatic footage that you see right here. This is over Tully
He's
Airport
cutting his reserve chute
in Queensland, Australia. Now the jumper was one of 17 parachutists who had been due to take part in the 16-way formation jump. Now the accidental
We're missing
deployment
one.
caused the first parachutist to fly suddenly backwards, hitting the aircraft's wing. As you saw, the snag parachutist hanging from the aircraft used a hook knife to cut at 11 rope lines of their reserve parachute to free himself. He was able to release his main parachute successfully despite getting stuck in the remaining lines of the reserve parachute.
Why did his chute open right away? What happened there?
It probably wasn't packed correctly.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Now,
the one thing you want is a properly packed chute if you're going to jump out of a plane.
pilot
Only one way
recalled.
to test it, too.
Yep, that's true. You never know.
How weird is this? Pilot recalled feeling the aircraft suddenly pitch up and observed the airspeed rapidly decreasing. He added that the pilot was initially unaware of what happened and believed the aircraft had stalled, so they applied some power, but upon being told there was a skydiver hung up on the tailplane, they reduced power again.
Yeah, you probably don't have a rear view mirror on a plane. There's really no need. Yeah.
Divers sustained minor injuries in the incident, but landed safely after the flight. The aircraft also landed safely despite concerns from the pilot, who had declared Mayday to the Brisbane Center Air Traffic Control. Well, that's terrifying.
That's a mayday for dang sure. Yeah.
Never
going to happen to me. I can tell you why.
Because you ain't jumping out.
That's correct, yes.
Judgment Day jokes writing themselves after Chinese robotic startup Engine AI unveiled its new T-800 humanoid robot, showed off its combat power by literally kicking its own CEO across the room.
Of course.
Dude, that's a lot of power.
Oh, my gosh.
See, Brown, you don't understand why this is scary. The T-800 is from Terminator.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Now, Engine AI, fast-rising robotics firm out of China, founded in 2023. Company has become a standout in China's rapidly growing tech scene. Now, in just 2 years, team has built the T-800 full-scale humanoid robot that's gone viral for its shockingly human-like agility. Clips of the machine performing lightning-fast kung fu movements spread across social media, with some viewers even accusing the videos of being CGI. Now, to silence the skeptics, Engine AI dropped a new multi-angle demo. This time, CEO himself suited up in protective padding and stood in front of the robot. Wonder if he's got any internal damage from that.
I mean, there's a lot of padding there, but that is a hard kick.
Now, this T-800 model is set to sell for $25,000 with the first shipments expected no later than June 2nd, 2026. When are we going to get a film that is on a hitman that is a robot? Because they're not going to leave fingerprints, right?
That's true. So if it's a robot, yeah.
It's going to be hard to like, if they're all running around, they all look the same.
Yeah.
So how are you going to know which one's which?
Yeah, that's an excellent point right there. How do you arrest them? Then what do you do to the robot? You can't,
And I would assume you could program to go kill somebody, couldn't you?
Oh, heck yeah. If you can program him to punch a guy in the gut, you can program him to kill him.
That was part of the plot of iRobot.
Never saw that one either.
It wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. It was a little bit before its time, I guess. It would make a lot more sense now. Probably be a lot scarier for society if they saw that.
That is Trash today, presented by our friends at Bud Light. Also, Company Distilling, making sure you got a great weekend lined up, and we got a fun time with them next Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday we'll be at the Edgewood location at Odie's for a activation with our friends at Company Distilling. My man Scott is getting in on Tuesday night. He's going to be here a couple of nights, but we're going to be out and about providing Company Distilling the great product that it is. You guys have heard us talking about it. Now is the time to
A video just randomly played on my phone.
to try it out. Different variations out there. I've got a couple of bottles at my house. Absolutely love it. Company Distilling. For more information, companydistilling.com/Alabama.
All right, we're going to do the college football spotlight. It is going to be the latest BetUS odds on the Michigan coach. Tyler, if you will.
The College Football Spotlight.
It's presented by our guy, Alexander Shinara, trial attorney, Shinara.com, Shinara.com. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, Alexander Shinara, Trial Attorney's the place to go. They not only handle personal injury claims, but fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claim, workers' compensation claims, many, many more. Again, whatever legal issue you find yourself in, go to Shinara.com, Shinara.com. BetUS, and again, I've pointed this out to a number of people. Fuhrman is the one that has educated us on the whole head coach odds thing. Not necessarily that they don't have the right coach in there, but the odds are pretty inefficient. It's really difficult to do this. This is why you can only bet limited money on this, right? BetUS has Kalen DeBoer as even money to be the next Michigan coach. If not him, Jed Fish is the next favorite, followed by Jesse Minter, followed by Kenny Dillingham, followed by John Gruden, followed by Joe Brady. That, beyond Kalen DeBoer, is not an exciting list if I am a Michigan fan.
You know, I saw Josh Pate, our buddy, this morning saying that they need to hire Kenny Dillingham. Now, I don't know if him and Kenny Dillingham have grabbed lunch together a couple of times.
Who else did I see say that? It wasn't Pate. Hang on. Oh, it was Klatt. Klatt will be back on with us Monday. We can ask him about this. Klatt was...
I mean, apparently he must be very, very impressive when you sit down with the guy and whatever his vision is.
Yeah. I wouldn't say Klatt was campaigning for him, but he was talking about it being a good hire.
Yeah, maybe our view on Kenny Dillingham just was his brief time in state. And then really all you see are the video clips. And what was the game where he had the complete meltdown last year at the end of the clock?
Oh, yeah. Who was it that they rushed the field on them? Or his own fans rushed the field and he had the meltdown. I can't remember who they were playing. I want to say it was Texas Tech, maybe. Oddly.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily the best. Look, did a hell of a job last year. I thought they fell off a little this year. You can blame it on injuries because two best players couldn't stay healthy for majority of the season. I don't know, man. I think Kenny, if I'm a Michigan fan, and again, you never know how this stuff's going to play out, I would not be overhyped about Kenny Dillingham.
Yeah. The reason the Michigan job is open is Sherrone Moore. His official charges, just breaking in the last few minutes, are home invasion, which is a third-degree felony.
Yep, not good.
Stalking, which is a misdemeanor. But, boy, when you say stalking, even as a misdemeanor, that word just carries a lot of weight. You know what I'm saying?
How is stalking not a felony?
Yeah. I mean, I would...
There's got to be different levels of stalking,
That's what
right?
I was going to say. I'd like to know the details on how it's not. Breaking and entering, which is a misdemeanor. As Brandon Marcello points out, if found guilty of all 3 charges and gets the maximum on all 3 of those charges, he would face 6 years, 90 days in prison, and or $3,500 of fines.
Yeah,
the harshest one is the home invasion. That carries 5 years and or a $2,000 fine.
Now, again, I find it hard to believe he'll ever do a day. It'll be time served, and he'll be given a hefty fine. But if we find out, and again, I'm just throwing it out there, that he kicks open a front door and, has some weapon and is verbally threatening, and there's a lot that goes into this. So, this got a lot of different layers to it. Here's our different
what you got
levels
here,
of
Todd?
stalking.
What you got on stalking?
So I just quickly Googled the different levels of stalking charges. Only one of them is not considered a felony. Misdemeanor stalking.
So it's often the first offense is why it's
first offense involving repeated harassment or following with intent to cause fear.
Yeah, so felony is normally 2 or more, and then aggravated is the higher felony level, which now you got threats, protective orders that have been violated, stuff like that.
I mean, on the surface, it seems like he gets fired. He completely loses his mind.
Yeah.
He goes straight to the place where he was having the inappropriate relationship.
Yeah.
And things don't go as planned.
That was the report from John Bacon, who covered Michigan for a very long time. You would have to think, I don't know his record. I don't know that he's ever been in any trouble. You probably don't do jail time here. I would imagine you pay fines. Maybe some charges are reduced or dropped.
Again, unless you've got knife or gun in hand, you kick open front door. I mean, there are circumstances that probably would lead to that, but, I think he gets popped on the wrist.
Yeah. So those are the charges against Sherrone Moore, and the spotlight portion of that was those odds that showed a lot of names behind Kalen DeBoer. I still don't think DeBoer, I've been asked a lot, I don't think he takes this job. I think he's happy at Alabama and he doesn't want to move his family again. That's what he said about Penn State. I don't think that changes about Michigan. The Michigan job's a better job than Penn State, but you still got to move your family for it. So
I just think it would be such a bad look for Kalen DeBoer. Like 2 years at Alabama and then quickly, like, what's your reasoning? Like you couldn't handle the challenge? That's what it would look like. Whether or not there's something else to it, I don't know. I did hear our buddy Paul Feinbaum this morning saying, if they lose next weekend, there could be something there just because he talked about how cold the winter would be after back-to-back 4 loss seasons. But I agree with Paul in this regard, and I'll let you get to your point. If Alabama wins next week, this issue is dead.
Yeah, but my point was going to be if you're Michigan, you're like, oh, good, he lost a college football playoff game in his first try. Let's go hire him? I mean, does that make sense either? You know what I'm saying?
Look at the list that you're looking at.
Well, it's a bad list. I mean, if that's your actual list, Hey, Walk-Ons gets us out of here today. Great place to go watch Army-Navy over the weekend. Great place to go watch the NFL games over the weekend as well. Your local Walk-On Sports Bistro. I get those Boom Boom Shrimp tacos. Tyler loves those ribeye sliders. My mom and dad went there last night before my kids' choir program. My mom got a salad, I think a chicken Caesar salad, she told me. My dad got the shrimp po' boy because that's what my dad gets. My dad loves po' boys. Walk-Ons Sports Bistro. It was actually my dad's birthday yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, Randy.
Yeah, my mom took him to Walk-Ons for his birthday. Walk-On Sports Bistro locations at Stadium Trace in Hoover, Tattersall Park just off 280, and also in Trussville in the Birmingham area, and many, many more in our audience there at Walk-Ons Sports Bistro. All right, that's going to do it for another week. Hopefully Jimmy D back in health and with us on Monday. Nate Oates, Alex Golesh, and much, much more available on demand wherever you get our show. Please give us a thumbs up. Set your alerts so you know when we're live and subscribe. Also, set automatic downloads on all of our audio podcasts. That helps us. And share us on social media at Next Round Live. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday morning at 9 o'clock.